Lithuanian officials say a U.S. armored vehicle that went missing during a training exercise has been retrieved from a swamp after a 6-day search. However, there is still no information about the fate of the 4 American soldiers who were on board. The Lithuanian defense minister says the M88 Hercules armored vehicle was pulled ashore around 4 o'clock this morning. Hundreds of Lithuanian and U.S. soldiers, along with rescuers, joined the search through the thick forests and swampy terrain just 6 miles west of the border with Belarus. A French court has barred Marine Le Pen from seeking public office for 5 years for embezzlement in a serious blow to the far-right leader's presidential hopes. Although she can appeal the verdict, such a move will not suspend her ineligibility and could rule her out of the 2027 presidential race. The court ruling was a political as well as a judicial temblor for France. News and analysis, townhall.com. It was not a year for Cinderella teams in the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
For the first time since 2008, all of the favored top seeds in each of the regional brackets have reached the Final Four. In yesterday's games in the Midwest region, Houston beat Tennessee 69-50. In the South, it was Auburn over Michigan State 70-64. These games came after Saturday's results, in which in the West, Florida defeated Texas Tech, and in the East, Duke defeated Alabama. So your Final Four matchups this coming Saturday will be Auburn against Florida and Duke against Houston. George Williams reporting.
A New Mexico court weighing whether to block the disclosure of an array of records from an investigation into the deaths of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife. The request has been made by the couple's estate. Santa Fe-based Judge Matthew Wilson scheduling a hearing for today on whether to release the photos, videos, and documents. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building.
Gusting to 50, all that good stuff.
Super.
And that's going to be goofing around through Tuesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday is going to be windy. Or they use the term breezy, but nevertheless, it'll be windy. But by like Thursday, then we start seeing like good rain chances, like 40%. And that lingers into Friday, Saturday, and then even into Sunday where some of those wee mornings, a mix of rain and snow. So, yeah. But and those highs look like we're going to be like in the 50s. Like, yeah, Friday's high is 58.
Wow.
Thursday's high 69.
Nice.
Wednesday's high 70. And 81 today, 82 tomorrow.
There you go.
So there's the the fluctuation. But yeah, how was your weekend?
It was actually decent. You know, I do have to real quick. I got to give a shout out to Freddie Souza. Popped over to the Hop In Cafe here in Roswell for a breakfast or brunch on Sunday with me and the kids. And Freddie, I believe, and maybe his brothers, his family, were sitting there at the table having a meal.
Nice.
Shook hands, had a little conversation.
There's a lot of Sosas, isn't there? There's a big family.
There's a ton of Sosas.
I know he's got a big family.
But had a lovely meal. I chose to go with French toast. Hunter had a little chicken and waffle situation. Rhiannon, always chicken strips and fries.
She's a creature of habit.
Of course. I'm going to get her shirt that says she's tried chicken strips in a variety of different cuisines. But yeah, walked up to the counter to pay, and they told me it was already taken care of.
Freddie Slipper.
Freddie went ahead and took care of our meal. So I got to say big thanks to Freddie for doing that. That put a spring in my step.
Freddie's always a class dude. He's just that guy.
Yeah.
So, by the way, took my first, speaking of Freddie, took my Jeep out first road trip.
Yes.
Man.
How were the cool pines of Ruidoso?
It was nice. We had a good weekend. We just kind of spent the weekend. Actually, we spent the weekend pretty much at the end the whole time. We really didn't.
You didn't
we just
wander
kind of.
Really?
We just kind of hung out and did our thing there.
I thought that you had said you wanted to do some downtown stuff.
We thought about it, but then we were just happy there. So we just kind of walked around and gambled, swam, spent some hot tub time.
Nice.
And
that is one thing I'll say about
enjoying the weekend.
It's very, especially now that they've got the food court situation going on, it is very all-inclusive.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can have a variety of different cuisines.
Yeah.
They have a ton of activity out there.
Which a couple things, and I don't even know if I could spread it all. One conversation I think I might want to do next hour.
Okay.
It's got I got some thoughts.
Got some meat on it?
Yeah, I got some thoughts. And it's not an old man screams a cloud thing. It's going to appear that way, but it's not.
Did you do any gambling?
Yeah, a little bit. Nothing. I didn't get on any tables or nothing. Just slots.
Just slots.
Slots and
just to leave a little tip in their jar.
Yeah, I was down like everybody else, but I was up for a little bit, down for a little bit. But I think overall, I'm down.
I never play long enough to be up for a little bit and down for a little bit. I'm always down for a long bit and then I'm done.
Well, put it this way, Kim and I have a thing. We only hit like $20 at a time,
and that's usually what I'll do.
And then we'll do a thing, and then we'll go away and do some other things. Then maybe a few hours later, we'll drop another. And so a couple of those times I was up, a couple of those times I was down. So overall, so Kim usually gets 20, I'll grab 20, and then we walk around, and then sometimes if I don't see her for a while, one of us is up. If usually I see her 2 minutes later, then one of us is down.
If I see her walking up with a free drink and a dude on her arm, she's way up.
Right. And I'm like, get him to comp the room.
Come on, big spender.
But no, we had a good time.
Nice.
And, it was fun. And yeah, my one story about that stuff will be next hour. But I will say this. The only things I really participate in the food court, I didn't do a Wahlburger this time.
No.
Because I've had it there. But
yeah.
But I had a hankering for Sbarro. I was like, you know what? I ain't had Sbarro since like I was a teenager, I don't think.
Sbarro is underrated
Yeah.
because of their primary locations, they tend to be overlooked.
In malls.
Yeah. And thought of as a not great option for Italian.
Well, here's the thing. I will tell you this. I'm not going to argue about the pastas and all that stuff.
Okay.
But I will tell you this. I came to a realization that if you ask me and my id what the prototypical piece of pizza should be.
Perfect slice?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's a Sbarro pizza.
Really?
Yeah. After I ordered my pizza and had it, and I said, yep, this is it. The crust is the right thing. It's got the foldability. Mm-hmm. It's got the topping to cheese to. Did
you just get a cheese slice or pepperoni?
No. Oh, I went. Well, I was gonna try some stuff, but there was a couple in front of me that apparently wanted to get everything, and so I'm like, all right, well, I got a meat lovers left. I'll take a piece of that. Well, Hawaiian, I'll try your Hawaiian. So I had those.
Okay.
But after eating it, I was like, this is it. This is the when someone says, Mike, what's your I'm like, it's a Sbarro pizza. That in my head is what a pizza should be.
Nice. And scratch that itch. Well, that's cool.
And I'm people are like, man, what a ghetto. Have you eaten Sbarro pizza lately? Go have a piece.
No, I just think that authentic New Yorkers would sit there, with slack-jawed faces. Sorry, Roy. Because I feel like they would be in awe of that opinion. But again, I personally agree. I like a good Sbarro slice.
Well, in the marketing and all that, Sbarro's is a New York City established, 1950s established. So I'm going to take a stab that it is in the roots of the mom and pop New York City pizza.
How you doing? Steve Sabaro here.
This guy was just a little more entrepreneurial than the rest of the mom and poppers. So, okay, is it not going to? It's not going to taste like, you know, you just rolled into something with a
Like
vowel on the
Pizzeria
end.
Uno or something like that.
You're not going to roll in some mom and pop pizza place with some vowel on the end.
Well, it's Sbarro.
Yeah,
There's no there.
I know, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know.
Like,
I'm just messing.
like
There's
you
a
don't
vowel
walk
right
in and
there.
you don't feel like
Yeah.
may or may not be mafioso members in the corner.
Sure,
of thing.
but at the same time, it's the closest thing that you're going to find in our neck of the woods.
So I was happy.
Yeah.
That was but now I've come to the pit. If someone said, "What's your perfect?" I'm just going to say Sbarro. That's it. Now I don't have to kind of do a whole description.
Now, did you said you stayed on campus essentially? You didn't go to the restaurant you were talking about?
We were talking about, but we ended up not. The day just kind of got to us. They were late. We're like, yeah, well, we're just here, just kind of here. I'll tell you
I
what.
mean, we paid for the room. We might as well enjoy the room. I like it.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I got to the hot tub and I'm like, this is so great. Then I get out and I go do my dance. I'm gonna go back to that hot tub. Hey, let's go to the hot tub. I was literally we're just chilled.
Did you now see? This is where you have to. The radio DJ has to come out. Did you do James Brown's hot tub dance party? Ow! Too hot in the hot tub.
No, but I don't think I got loud. But if you ever been to the hot tub at the end of the Mountain Gods, they got like a little waterfall jobber in the end there. And so I got up to that. And if you want a massage on the cheap, all I'm saying is it's like a big, I sat there, this hot water, I'm like going, and I was like, I hope I'm not doing the whole like Will Ferrell. Yeah, just creeping out everybody in the pool area.
Yeah, I've found out recently you can have too good of a time. It turns out, sir, could you bring it down a notch?
That's right.
I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself, but
there was a lot of. Yeah, because in certain parts of the day, the pool did get a little busy and things, and we were in there, and there's not what you call a lifeguard on duty or anything. There's rules that clearly nobody cares about them.
Right.
Because we watched one kid about split his head wide open, and Dad just like, good job, son. Just like, good Lord.
Just stream of blood from
I'm like,
the pool.
does any of my guys know that they get sued anytime this stuff happens? Because they clearly don't care.
No, that sign on the wall, man. That's a disclaimer, sir. I mean, that's your kids need to walk, sir. No, nobody.
Of course,
here to
my
say
wife's
that.
a teacher. It eats her up every time she sees kids doing, things not, teachers. They get like that, and I'm like, Kim, not your circus.
I do one of these times want to sneak a whistle into the pool and just off in the corner set off.
It worked back in the day. It works today. You want some alone time in a pool? Bring a baby Ruth and enjoy.
That's true. Preferably a slightly melted one, so you get the strings.
And then if you really want to make friends, eat it, just like Bill Murray, and then you'll have friends for life.
Top notch.
All right, let me give you the rundown. I want to talk about. I got a theory.
Okay,
it's bigger than you and me. We got to talk about it next hour.
All right, and I brought snacks.
Ooh,
yeah, I found something this morning, and I am genuinely curious about what you would think about it.
All right, is it going to be something I would enjoy or something? Okay, good.
Yes,
like we're not eating something.
No, you're going to enjoy it. It's just
from a foreign land, are we?
I'm more curious to see what your opinion about it would be.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give the rundown real quick and then a reveal. We got it's the last day of the month on a Monday, so it's kind of I got all replays today. So we're going to replay an interview we had with Charles Eastless, under sheriff for the sheriff's department here. He had a great conversation with him on Friday. We'll play that for you here in a few. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview we had last Wednesday with the folks from American Legion Post 61, talking about just updates, inviting folks to be a part, things like that. We did touch on the Veteran Symposium that was this Saturday, which all reports I heard was good. I was out of town, but everything I heard about was good. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to replay our interview we had with Alfredo and John talking about Matanza Fest here in May.
we're just rolling in the TV stand this morning.
Exactly. But good deal. And then, of course, we'll do all of our other bits, news, features, and all that. We'll have your Smiley's Roswell Livestock Report here in just a few. He's got a lot to say today. It's like almost a 3-minute jobber. 2:43.
It's a big sales week.
Yeah, it must have a lot of meat.
Black and white faced Angus and Brangus.
Yeah. Is there like a meeting where they like name cows or like brands? Is there a thing where they like, we've got a new one, we call it Puffy Face?
Well, I mean, I know they're breeds, but what constitutes? See, this is why we need to have Smiley in.
Yeah.
Because I need to know what constitutes Angus versus Brangus.
But like, can we start new breeds? And it's like, is there start doing? It was like, oh, we got the.
I would imagine if you like breed like a Holstein with an Angus, you get like a Hangus.
I call this one Choco A1, or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Or like Wagyu, for example. Like the way that they do the meat there is they give the cows like massages and they're fed champagne.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think any cow's seen that around here.
Yeah, no. There was a story over the weekend about how scientists or farmers have come up with a way to make foie gras that's less cruel, so you don't have to like force feed the ducks. And the ducks, when asked for a comment, the ducks responded, "What about the dying thing?"
I think we, the people, have been frog-wad for the next 20 years. Here, let's put this processed weird thing in it. Yeah, you'll get diabetes when you look at it. But anyway, another story for another time. All right, 7:19. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little breezy today and lots of sunshine. We'll be hitting about 80 for the afternoon high. Overnight, upper 40s and a few clouds, and then get ready for a very windy Tuesday. We have a front moving through the area, low pressure to our north. We will have sunshine, mid-80s on the afternoon high, but that wind gusting to 45 miles an hour. Less windy on Wednesday, sunny and cooler with a high about 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 46 here in Roswell. Humidity is at 30% with winds out of the west at 6 miles per hour. Sunny and 81 today. Expect winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Shifting to the south this afternoon. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 49 tonight. South winds 10 to 15. And then tomorrow, the dust and all that begins. High wind watch will kick in at noon tomorrow. Also, a red flag warning kicking in at noon. Both running till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Patchy blowing dust. After 10, sunny and 82. That's the caveat, the good part. But the winds will be out of the southwest, 15 to 20, increasing 25 to 30. Could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour tomorrow. Tomorrow night, areas of blowing dust before 9. Partly cloudy, overnight low 43. Winds will be out of the west, 25 to 35, gusting as high as 45 miles per hour. They'll drop down 10 to 20 after midnight. Partly cloudy and 70, breezy on Wednesday. Southwest winds 5 to 10 early, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 by Wednesday afternoon. And then Thursday, sunny and 69. Thursday night, 40% chance of moisture. Friday, we're looking at 60% chance of moisture. Friday night, a 50% chance. Saturday, a 50% chance. And then 20% on Sunday. So looks like we got a chance of getting moisture. I don't know how much, but at least a chance for the back half of the week. All right, 7:21, we're going to take a quick 4-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Charles Lisas from the Sheriff's Department. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good March run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves and light yearlings, pairs, young, middle-aged, and older bred cows. We expect to sell 1,100 head, breaking down like this: 100, 125 weight cows and bulls, 200, 225 pairs bred cows, 700, 750 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 25 to 30 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white face, red, white face English cross cows with black calves. Pairs 5 to 10 years old, 116 bred cows. Reverse EV Ranch here north of Roswell. Good to excellent quality black, white face, red, white face, and Charolais crossbred cows. Cows medium frame, second, third trimester bred to Angus and Charolais bulls. 3 to 10 years old, mostly 3s to 7s. 22 bred cows, Mr. Steve Spence, Lake Arthur, New Mexico. Ex-quality black Angus cows, bred to Angus bulls, good flesh. 8 to 10 years old, 35 to 40 roping size calves for today, right off the cows. Excellent quality, they are fresh, 150 to 150 pounds. 63 calves off one dairy, approximately 30 are Holstein steers weighing 250 to 500, and 30 Angus Holstein cross heifers, 250 to 400 pounds. 98 heifer calves, the Barrow Cattle Company at Andrews, Texas. Reputation quality black Angus heifers. Cattle wean 60 days, 2 rounds of shots, multi-men. Thin to medium condition, 450, 600 pounds. 38 calves, Circle Bar Partnership, Balmorhea, Texas. Excellent quality black white face Angus crossbreds, shots at Brandon, thin condition, 350, 550. 31 calves, James Ellett, Hope, New Mexico. Excellent quality black Angus crosses. Cattle wean 30 plus days, 1 round of shots, thin condition, 250, 400 pounds. 26 calves, Los Adobes at Winston, New Mexico. Excellent quality black white face Angus crossbred calves. Cattle wean 45 days, 1 round of shots, 350, 500 pounds. 31 calves and light yearlings, Mr. John Woodburn down at Duncan, New Mexico. Good quality Bremer cross and a half Bremer cross. Cattle are weaned 400, 600 pounds, and 19 light yearlings of Mr. Randy Smith at Carlsbad. Excellent quality English crossbreds. Cattle wean 120 days, 1 round of shots, 450, 600 pounds. Sale time this morning be 9 o'clock. Sale pairs of bred cows 9:45. Be selling calves and yearlings about 11 to 11:30. Fairly short on weigh cows and bulls. Be on the pairs and bred cows pretty quick. We expect to sell 1,100 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
This is the time of year we can get all 4 seasons in just one day. Hi, this is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. 1 minute you're sweating in the sun, and the next minute you've got slush in your shoes. But that's winter in Roswell, and after 127 years, we're starting to get used to it. It's too early to plant very much, but you can fertilize pecan trees, spray for dandelions, order your bees, and pick up a new seed catalog. So come see us at Roswell Seed. Like Jim Gill would say, enjoy the warm days, but don't go far from the fire.
The Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation salutes hunters in the role they play in providing critical funding for conservation. Celebrate how hunting is conservation at the Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation Annual Banquet, Saturday, April 12th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. The Roswell Banquet will take place on April 12th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at rmef.org and go to the New Mexico Events tab. Celebrate hunters at the Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation Roswell Banquet, Saturday, April 12th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. The Eastern New Mexico University System is proud to present One Eastern Day, sponsored by J.P. Stone Community Bank on Thursday, May 1st from 4 to 9 p.m. on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Come join ENMU for a family fun night featuring food trucks, inflatables, info booths, and live music by Roswell's own Grupo Maldad from 7 to 9 p.m. Bring out the whole family May 1st to ENMU Roswell and join us for One Eastern Day. Visit roswell.enmu.edu for more information. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Undersheriff for the Chaffetz County Sheriff's Department, Charles Eastlis, back with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How's life been behind the badge this morning?
It is very busy. Stays very busy.
As usual. There is no such. There's always busy moments, but there's never a down season.
No.
You know what I mean? Like there's busier times, but there's never a time where it's not busy, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
People say, what days of the week, what times of the year is it? It has no rhyme or reason.
Sure. I mean, obviously, holiday seasons when people are gathering and together, that just is a recipe for more issues. That's you can't.
Warmer weather.
Yeah,
nicer
you put a lot of people together in a close environment that are closely related. They love hard, they fight hard, and usually that just ensues more activity.
Exactly. And when you have those holidays that they don't see each other as often.
Yeah.
But then that's whenever the feelings come back.
Sure.
And the issues come back.
And I'm also probably say the types of things you deal with shift a little bit. Like obviously during this time of year and stuff, you're dealing probably with a lot of driving while impaired type crimes, things like that.
Brownouts.
Yeah, things like that. Domestic is always in the back burner during holiday seasons. That will uptick a bit.
It will.
But generally when the weather's nicer, you're probably dealing with more
outdoor issues,
type events and things like that.
DWIs.
Yeah.
The warmer the weather, the later people stay out.
Sure.
And understandably so. But with that, you have more of the outside calls versus when they're stuck inside during the holidays and cooped up and things get out of hand. Then you have more of the domestic in-home.
Sure. Things that definitely, but that's life.
That is.
So, but that being said, there really isn't a slow season for. Oh, you're on 4 there. I keep moving. They're picking you up on 3.
Oh, not a problem.
I'm so used to doing that. So, but they. That's the thing here too. Is when we talk about this kind of stuff. Yes, there's seasons, but it's that's the life of a law enforcement officer.
That's right.
Every given day is different. Where yes. I mean, you get up at a certain time. You may do this. You show up at a certain time. You got to do your briefings and everything in the beginning.
Yeah.
But once that happens, man,
the only thing routine is waking up.
Yeah,
and that's a good routine.
Yeah, but I imagine there's days where you're kind of you spend a lot of time just in the patrol car doing a whole lot of just observing. Then there's a whole day of that. And about 2 minutes before your shift ends, all hell breaks loose.
Exactly.
And that's just the nature of the beast sometimes.
Well, and you can have a list of to-dos, but the nature of the business and the calls and the day is going to dictate whether you get to all of them or not.
Absolutely.
So you prioritize what's pertinent to get done immediately or that morning or that day.
Sure.
And then you hope to get to the rest of them, but we'll see what happens.
And then really, and this is, again, this for folks, we're always looking for qualified folks to.
We're testing this morning, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
Yes.
And they're all, no matter, it's very rare that the sheriff's office says, nope, all positions are filled right now. Right. I mean, every once in a while they've got them all filled, but here's the rub.
We keep hovering around 3 to 4.
Is it? That's not bad. It's been worse.
Yes.
So that's not a bad number right now. But even if they get that number, usually like a week or two later, someone retires, someone transfers, just life happens.
And so many people start at the same time that you don't have one retirement, you might have 2 or 3.
That's true.
That's what really gets
Well, that's kind of that's I'm going to just the nature of having an academy to do training, because rare is it you send one person. Usually it's 3 or 4 or 6, just depending on the number. And so if they all have around the same, it's kind of like high school. Y'all
start together,
they
all graduate together.
It's kind of that mindset a little bit, after 20 years or so,
right.
And so that's why all the time they're constantly taking out. If you're interested in a career in law enforcement or the sheriff's department, it doesn't matter what time of the year, as long as you meet the qualifications,
always taking applications.
They're always looking for qualified folks.
Absolutely.
Be that
and even if we do end up getting full, we always have that pool of applicants that we can draw from.
Sure.
So it's very important if you're interested in law enforcement to please make sure that you apply, whether we have active open positions or not. Please apply, because we keep that pool of applicants.
Absolutely.
Because anything and everything can happen. People are retiring. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people move. They want to. They're
or maybe budgets change, and you're allowed to hire a few more officers.
Or we might be able to add some positions.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's the key.
Yeah, and so. But this is the thing, and like we were talking with the RPD earlier in the week, and the same mindset. It's really this is a lifestyle. It's more than a job and it's some careers you can turn off at the end of the day.
Right.
But generally speaking, a lot of careers you even have no home at night and everything. But law enforcement's 24/7. Even on your day off,
you said
when
it
you're
best.
in
It's
cities,
a lifestyle.
yeah. You can be out with your family, and if something goes down, it's as a peace officer, it's kind of like the Hippocratic Oath with doctors.
Your duty.
You got to do something about it. That's right. That's just doing it. And so, that being said, is you're always on 24/7, but at the same time, it also, if you like the camaraderie, the family unit, because that's what it also generates with is that brotherhood, sisterhood, that kinship. That military is the only other thing that comes kind of close to that, is with first responders and military.
It goes back to that. I can pick on my brother, but nobody else better.
Yeah.
But
it's anytime you're put in extreme stressful situations, that's what creates bonding.
Bonding experiences.
Sure, it creates, you got to deal with the mental health of that.
Right.
But at the same time, how they do that is, commiserate together. Because let's
when
face
you chew dirt together,
absolutely,
it bonds you.
and I don't care if you're a law enforcement officer. I don't care if you've done it for 20 years or 2 years.
Right.
You're going to see things that are just not normal. That
the normal person doesn't see on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's going to question your human psyche a little bit sometimes and stuff.
And when you think you've seen it all, you haven't.
And that's where the brotherhood and sisterhood, that kinship gets in there, because when you all, like you said, we all chew that dirt together, then it's kind of, you can process it together.
Yes.
And this is why, when they talk about veterans and, sometimes veterans only, it's because once you're in that circle, sometimes you see and do things that if you're just not in that world,
people just don't understand.
You can't wrap your hand around it. And so even if you try to explain it, it's going to be off-putting to you. And so that's where that bond and that kinship creates, is because you are a little bit of you live in a different world than most. And
it creates a different sense of humor, both in military and law enforcement. And people that aren't in that circle or in that structure, they don't quite understand sometimes.
That's
so
how
when they
process.
they look and they see, oh, these guys are laughing or smiling on a scene. Well, the reality is they're 9 times out of 10 they're processing something else and talking about something else, because they'll process what they're watching or what they're seeing there.
Absolutely.
They'll process that later.
So
it's the human nature.
Because at the end of the day, no matter what an officer rolls up on, they got to kind of play it like, this is normal. You know what I mean? Even when you clearly is not normal.
Even though it isn't, you have to say, okay, we'll put that in the box and let's move on to the next thing.
Because you don't, and quite frankly, because you don't know what's going on. And if you've got a person that's completely deranged, when you come in there guns blazing, that's not going to de-escalate anything.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, the officer's just trying to, all right, we got something crazy heinous here. No big deal. No big deal. Everybody calm down.
Kind of like the Naked Gun. Remember? Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see. Everything's blowing up behind.
Fireworks factory's blowing up behind them. Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, nothing to see.
and so that's why it is like that a little bit. And so it's just. But anyway, and I know we keep talking about the tough side of it, but the converse side is really it's. If you're looking for a sense of belonging, if you're looking for a social scene, if you're looking for
in the world.
A group of people that is like a second family to you, then a career in law enforcement is definitely something you're going to embrace and love.
I wouldn't trade this career for anything. And even the bad days are great.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds ridiculous to say that, but I love every aspect of this job, even the paperwork.
Sure.
And I'm very happy to say this will be my 27th year coming up in August. So I'm, when you say, oh, yeah, I could have, should have, would have maybe gone fishing at 20 years. But realistically, what would I, I wouldn't smile like I do now.
And this is the most successful officers, the ones that have the careers like yourself and many others like that. You have to have the server's heart.
Yes.
Like if you don't like helping people.
You have to love what you do.
Yeah. If you don't like helping people, if you don't like conversing with people, then a career in law enforcement is not for you. Find something. Go be a librarian.
If you're not
something.
People person, don't do a people person job.
Yeah. Get a nice cubicle job or something. Yeah. But and so that's where it is because, at the end of the day, when you go from 100 miles an hour to 0.
That's right.
And you're used to going 100 miles an hour, you got to fill that void a little bit. You need, that's your drive. That's what, it's no different than, the bungee jumpers and parachute and all that.
Adrenaline is a drug.
Yeah. And law enforcement, but it's also helping's a drug too. Yes. I mean, and I'm going to even say
the satisfaction that you receive whenever you're able to help somebody solve an issue, keep in mind, it's big enough for them to call.
Yeah.
It might not be that big to us or to whoever's responding.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, we see that all the time, but they don't. They don't deal with that all the time.
Absolutely.
We deal with it all the time because that's what our job is.
Yeah.
But they don't. And so it's, it's
you
very
have to
important.
Treat it that way. Yeah.
You treat everybody's problem, regardless of how important it is to you, that it is the most important thing you're working on at that particular moment.
It's a fine dance. Because at the same time, you got to play okay, let's not get excited and get over the top here. But at the same time, we don't want to trivialize it to the point of where we are not, addressing what's fired them off. Basically.
Give them your undivided attention. And that's why whenever I have someone come in or I have a meeting or something, I'll turn my phones off or put them in the other room or turn them down, because I the last thing that I want to do is I'm talking to somebody and then the phone, hold on a second, give them your undivided attention. And you cannot lead or supervise from behind closed doors. You cannot serve the public from behind closed doors. You need to be out. We work for the public. And so I don't know if you saw or not, but I get on every now and then and let the public know what's going on.
Yeah, Charles,
what
you're
we're
on
doing
daily, if not at least multiple times a week. Yeah.
And the reason for that is because they need to know what we're doing. We're not doing any secret squirrel stuff. And if we are, I'm not going to put that out there. It's obviously that's
if it's going to compromise the mission, then I will not share that.
But like going to the sheriff's conference, we have another one coming up in June, and I want the public and in particular Chaves County to know this is what we're doing with your tax dollars, your time.
Well,
and this is what we're going to be able to do for you.
Well, like when you guys go do that stuff, it was one of the times it was you and the sheriff together, and we were talking about some of the technology you guys are using for training purposes.
Yes.
That's the stuff you find in Vegas. That's where
we found
so when you guys,
a lot of it there.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Everyone loves a good trip to Vegas.
Sure.
But they are bringing back tools that are saving lives in Chaves County doing it.
Yes, so, and we found some more equipment this year that we're going to be bringing to Chaves County. That is it makes the job a lot easier, but it helps to serve the public better. And so with that, it's
well, and this is the thing. It's a lot of these tools and stuff, especially the one with the scenario thing. This is designed to, because anytime you want to get good at something, you've got to practice it.
That's right.
Anytime you practice it, you're going to fail at it.
Muscle memory.
Lots of times you're going to fail at it. You're going to fail more than you succeed in the early parts of practice. And this is the beauty. This software, this technology, they can really practice.
That's right.
Almost as real as short of not standing out in the street dealing with it.
We want the failures to occur in the classroom.
They can evoke the same emotions, the same feelings that you're in that situation. But guess what? When you screw up and the guy blows you away, we start the video over. We start the thing over again.
That's where you get the other quarter.
Yeah.
In real life, it's not a video game.
Exactly.
You don't get that.
So they get to make the mistakes here.
In the
they
classroom.
get to learn. So by the time they're out in the streets,
that's right.
They've got that third eye or whatever, whatever the things that officers have.
Exactly.
That they can read the rooms and things like that. That's how you get it.
It's very important that, and even in this amount of time, the sheriff's coming up on 30 years, and in this amount of time, I tell and I call them kids because they're kids.
Sure.
They're 20-something years old.
But then you got a guy, 70s calling you a kid. And you're like, hey, wait a minute. It's the same. It's a circle of life.
Exactly.
You're always someone's kid.
Right. Yeah. Hey, kiddo. Exactly. And so I tell them, this time is going to go by a lot quicker than you think.
Sure.
I promise you. I remember my first day. I remember my first year. And
that's
all of a
just
sudden,
life, man. It is.
That's right.
It's like you blink and you're 50. You're like, what happened?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, and I tell them, they say, well, what is it that you haven't seen? And I tell them, you haven't seen everything. You haven't learned everything. And if there's ever a time that you feel that, oh, you know what, I know it all, or I've seen it all, it's time for you to go.
Sure.
And the reason being is because you've closed your mind off to learning. You've closed your mind off to adjusting to whatever is happening at that particular time, or the new procedures and things like that, new policies. So it's important to
as you get old, life is really a series of humblings.
Yes.
It really, if you're doing it right. I mean, really, because let's face it, all of us, when you're at 18, 20, and that peak part of your life and things.
Yes.
And I don't care who you are or where you come from. Yeah, you kind of have an air to you. Like,
That's
I know
right.
everything. I think you're finally you're making your own decisions in life around this time for that, and so you kind of get that. I've seen it, done it, and know it all. And then people that have lived life come across you and humble you a little bit.
That's
and they
right.
say, "Oh, you think you know it?
Yes.
Wait till you hit this. And
I
wait
always
till you see
tell
that."
these youngsters there's a difference between arrogance and knowledge.
Yeah.
So you always want to have that humble attitude.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, if not, somebody will come along and humble you, and it's great to be able to go in and give a talk or a speech or something about something that you know,
right,
and have the enthusiasm about it. Like like I do. I love it.
Absolutely.
Versus, going in and you get 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
That's it. Or this and that. I'm this guy or
Sure.
I'm that guy. No, you're not.
And that's yeah, and really that's your and this is law enforcement in general, but
Yes.
but you and the sheriff have the unique, because you literally
we love people.
But you also you guys have to wear the politician hat sometimes too, and that's 101 politics right there.
It is.
It is, but it translates in law enforcement because
does.
at the same time you're doing the exact same job. You're trying to lead and influence people and to get people to understand what's going on here, whether it's the sheriff or the deputy working the beat. It's
That's
the
right.
same. You know what I mean?
That's exactly
it's
right.
just a different audience.
Yes, exactly. And it's if you want to see a person's work ethic, watch what they do on a regular basis versus when a promotion's coming up or a raise is coming up or a position is coming up. Exactly. You see people come out of the woodwork.
They're going to contract you. They're going to play hard.
Yes,
and all of a sudden, if they're really good, they played hard the year before too.
Yes, all of a sudden, people that you've never seen before or haven't heard of or anything, they start coming out of the woodworks. Well, it's the same with whenever you have promotions coming up or things like that.
The sharks start swimming.
Yes. So I tell people, it's important to see what a person does on a daily basis, not what they do when there's. You can always tell when there's nothing for you to gain. That's when you see a person's work ethic. That's when you see how dedicated they are.
And this is something that they ingrain in you in military, and I know they do it in the Air Force, and I do it in all branches. I'm going to take a stab. This is something they cover in the academies a lot too. And the word, one of the most important word you'll hear so much that you almost trivialize it, but you don't, is the word integrity.
That's right.
And they always and through my military training, was despite the the ins and outs of how to do the thing, it's always about integrity. And
that's right.
And the first thing when you look at the definition of integrity, and this is kind of the standard military issue definition of military, and that definition is doing the right thing even when no one else is looking.
That's right.
That's the definition of integrity in
That's
terms
exactly
of. I'm
right.
going to say law enforcement's probably
it's identical.
Same drum beat there. You know
That's
what
right.
I mean? And so that's
because it's right.
Yeah.
But
it's also life, because
right.
at the end of the day, you can make all the money in the world, you can make all the connections in the world, and have all that. None of it amounts to a hill of beans if it's what your reputation is, what people think of you, what people. What
do
mark
what you
do
say
you leave?
You're going to do.
Yeah, what mark do you leave when you leave
right.
a room? And that's
Don't
really what
come
defines
in, make
you.
a bunch of promises, and then forget about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Follow through with what you tell them you're going to do. And it's goes back to, like you said, doing the right thing when nobody is looking.
Yeah.
It's kind of that. I see something on the side of the road there that needs to be pulled out of the road, or trash or something. It's bending over, picking it up, or pulling it out of the roadway.
Mm-hmm.
Versus driving by saying, "Man, I wish somebody would get that out of the road."
Absolutely. I will tell you this: every single person that devotes that life set to say, "My word is what I am, and this is what I got."
Yeah.
Every single one of those people that follow and live by that are going to are fine. They're doing okay.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how much money they got or how much money
That's
they
right.
don't have. But when you have a reputation of being known as, I can be counted on,
That's
I can
right.
be dependable, I can be trusted. People,
Yes.
I walk in a room and people automatically think I'm on their side. That's
right.
That's how you build them, and that's what gets you successful in life. I don't care, because you're going to have problems. We're humans.
That's
Things are
right.
going to happen. But guess what? If you're that person, either you're able to pull yourself out, or guess what? You will have oodles of people that know your character are ready to go to bat for you.
Absolutely.
No matter, and sight unseen.
Absolutely. And we all have somebody that we can say, I'll send somebody to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have people do that for me. I'll have this. No. There's some things that you need to do.
Yeah.
There's some things that I need to do. There's some things, and there's times whenever they want to talk to me.
Yep.
They don't want to talk to the lieutenant or the deputy or something.
Mm-hmm.
They want to talk to me about whatever's going on.
Right, because it's your
right.
character that they want to talk.
Yes.
They
So
want to look, even because people have people. It's like, the sheriff, police, corrupt. Da, 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 da. But I know Charles, and Charles is good people, and I'm going to talk. And that's that mindset.
To this day, still have people calling, giving information, and I say, okay, let me get you my lieutenant. Well, Willie, I trust me, I'll give you the detective or the lieutenant, and they're going to be able to do more with this.
Sure.
And
you just
so
have to give
it's
the intro. You have to give
right.
you have to give the vouch for.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And it's a very good feeling whenever you still have that after 20 something years, because you've had an experience with them, and you've proven yourself.
Sure.
And that carries a lot further than anything else.
And that's how you sleep at night, because you're like,
right.
and because I know the same thing. That's the feeling.
That's
and
right.
it's nice to feel when say, look, I have those days where I'm ready to. I'm like, man, but it's like it's nice. But it's nice to say, you know what, at least. I can walk up with my head held high, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of anything I did, and I'm and that's really life. It's doing the right things, and trust me, as both of us have lived some life here. We're not done, but we've got but
hopefully,
yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean? It's like the more I've been on this earth, the more it's like all the things that we've tried to, like everything I've done in my past that I've tried to do to circumnavigate something or take the
was
road,
a learning experience,
or try to do the thing to avoid the thing, or you know what I mean? All the because we all do it. I'd be like, man, it created way more stress, created way more anxiety.
Some people will work harder at getting out of work than doing the work.
And then sometimes it's like, man, it is. You don't realize the burden.
Yes.
That your conscious and your psyche has.
That's right.
When you're not hiding secrets, when you're not.
And you can only BS people for so long.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
If you truly enjoy people, or if you truly enjoy what you do, or you truly, then it comes through. It shows.
Absolutely.
If you don't, you're only going to keep up that facade for so long.
That's right.
And you're going to have that sniper in the audience is going to pull you out.
It's like, when we talk about alcoholism, some people have been doing it for years, and here's the thing.
Yep.
Even if they've been over 20 years, it still catches up to them.
Sure,
at some point or another, one way or another. If it doesn't catch them up with a social thing, then it's a health thing.
How many times have we heard somebody say, "Oh, I drove drunk all these times," and then that's the time when they got
the one time
killed, or they killed somebody else, or they got arrested.
I'm going to take just a stab, and I'm sure I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 when a DUI accident happens, that is not the first time that person's been driving.
You are spot on.
Yeah, it is very rare the one
that
time.
That may be the first time they got caught.
Yes.
It may be the first time that they had an accident.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time.
I guarantee it is. If that was the first time, I mean, I don't know what to call lucky or whatever, but I'm just saying, maybe you should not do anything because clearly you're bad at doing things wrong.
You're not very good at being bad. That's it right there. Yeah,
maybe that's a sign.
Yeah.
If
you're not good at being bad, so
maybe
do something else.
Let's pick a different path here. But
that's right.
But anyway, I know we're going around in circles and stuff here, but as far as like safety stuff, any news for the public we need to get out there for folks?
We're hoping that the weather is kind of subsided as far as the wind goes. We know we're up in the upper 80s over the next couple of days. That's, to me, I love that weather.
Yeah.
I love
it'd be a great
heat.
weekend to go out to the lake or whatever. Yeah,
we were talking. You and I were talking about we're getting out of town, going different places, but getting out of town this weekend. And
it's good camping weather too for those that camp and everything.
Absolutely, but with the nicer weather, again comes other issues. So keep in mind, you have the nicer weather. The time has changed. It stays light longer, but with that comes a little more drinking, more partying, things like that. So again,
extra
keep
beer
those
too
things,
at the lake.
Yes, absolutely. So keep those things in mind. Remember,
be responsible.
It's kind of like riding the motorcycle. Dress for the slide, not for the ride. Be prepared.
Well,
and
I'm going to tell you this right now. If y'all get on social media and see all the dumbness that goes on there, 99.99% of the time, that started by some people having some beers beforehand.
Hold my beer and watch this, right?
So the fun at the lake.
Yeah.
Sometimes if
there's
you don't
a
do
reason
it right,
why women outlive men.
Yeah, keep it up. You'll turn into a TikTok video.
That's right. That's exactly right. Exactly. But we have a lot of those things coming up. We're going to be doing a lot of activities with the schools as we get closer into the
graduation season.
Yeah. I was asked to speak at Leadership Roswell next week. I'll be speaking at Leadership New Mexico. I'm alumni from Leadership New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
And then I'll be doing.
Have you done Roswell too?
No, I haven't. And
sounds like someone
Rick
needs to do it.
Rick Kraft, he's
I'm sure
talked
Rick
to me.
has been
Yes,
knocking to you.
he did.
Yeah.
When he
It is a
called
good
and asked
program.
me about speaking, that's
as
what
an
he told
alum
me.
myself, it is an excellent program. Yeah.
So if you have an event and you'd like me to come and speak at, tell the public now. I'd be happy to.
That's right.
That's what we do.
He does parties. He does everything.
That's what we do. Yes, that's what we do.
He's got outfits.
And,
you can pick. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. And it's a chance to talk.
But absolutely, yeah. So like
being able
Rotary, Civic luncheons,
Yes.
all those. I know every civics organization usually has like a
Yes.
luncheon of some kind. Yes, Sheriff's Department, Charles. I'm sure any of the deputies would love to speak to people if you'd like to have them at your meetings and things like that.
The sheriff's out right now. Not out, but he's out of town.
Sure.
His sister. Congratulations to his sister.
Nice.
They're going to renew their vows.
Awesome.
And so, not the sheriff and his sister, but yeah,
That's a different story.
yeah. But and I say that to say this: the sheriff was laughing because they he has like 27 family members that are all meeting in Las Vegas.
Wow.
For his sister's renewal of her vows.
So they can rent like a whole floor.
Well, he said, they haven't seen this many hillbillies coming. So it's one of those.
I don't know. It is Vegas.
Yes, it is. I said, Fremont,
what happens in Vegas? Just saying.
Except an arrest record. Now that'll come back with you. Right?
That's true. Yeah, that and marriage licenses.
That's
Those
right.
do come back too.
Those do come back. That's right. That's right. But you're going to see us a lot more, and at different functions together.
Absolutely.
We've always been able to attack and accomplish, I should say, more activities by splitting up, and then we
divide and conquer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are some that we're going to be doing together. But again, if you have anything that we can
it's not
help
like
you with,
president, vice president, you're not allowed to be in the room the same together just in
Right.
case. You have to be in different rooms.
Well, when we ride in the same vehicle, we usually ride opposite, and he's banking on the fact that the driver will turn to save him, and I'm banking on the fact that the driver will turn to save himself.
I feel like that's got to be life as a cop, right? Like every day is like a scenario. Like everything, you're going to McDonald's. All right,
your life is a scenario.
Post here, and then most of us. We're like, did I wear pants to go get the paper? And like for an officer, it's like, all right, let's set up a perimeter. Everything.
You have a different, like we talked earlier, you have a different kind of personality, and so. Whenever we went out of town this last time, I have this checklist. They laugh at me, my lieutenants laugh, but I have this checklist, and I have 2 boxes next to everything. And what's that for? Well, you double check everything there.
Right.
Oh my God! And then I have
sure
at
you
the
were in the Air
bottom-
Force?
Right.
Ever seen a TO? Because it's everything,
double
checklists
check.
and everything.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh gosh.
And at the bottom it says, okay, make sure to tell them where the wheel is, where is this, where is that, and people don't want to hear that. They're, I don't want to hear that. But the reality is that's reality.
Absolutely.
And so, it's not that we think anything's going to happen, but we see it happen every day.
And as law enforcement, I mean, exactly. You guys on a daily basis see things that were nothing a minute, and 2 minutes later, it's complete chaos.
Yes.
So naturally, your brain is going to wire to, that happens, and most of us like, nah, that never happens. Like I saw it 3 times last week, and that's the difference.
Yeah. If this
we
ever
never
happens,
see
here's
it.
where this is at. Well, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm letting you know.
Yeah.
So
it is until it did. Is kind
That's
of
right.
thing. And so
that's right.
But if folks, if you're interested, please come by the sheriff's department or go to the website if you're interested.
Yes,
a career in law
absolutely.
enforcement. Get your applications
Again,
in.
We're testing this morning. We have a group that we're testing this morning that have already applied. Everything is now done online. So go to the Chaves County website.
Yeah.
You click over on the right-hand corner. It'll drop a drop-down menu to you and tell you what positions are available in the county itself. Under that,
There's more sheriff's officers.
Oh, yes,
There's all
absolutely.
And by the way, maybe if law enforcement's not your work, but if you want to work in some of the other departments.
If you want to work for a great county, work for Chaves County.
Benefits are great.
It is awesome.
You go to a county commission meeting, and every time when they do the kind of the annual, so and so's been here 5 years, and they do that every year. And every single year,
there's a reason why they've been here this long.
Well, and every single year, there's always a couple of people got 20, 30
That's
years
right.
up there, and it's like. I mean, yeah, exactly. I say, you want to know if a company is good to work for? Go look and see how many times, how long people been there. What's
the
average,
longevity of the employees will tell you.
average length of work time there? And if it's numbers like 10, 20,
That's right.
that speaks good volumes. And so,
absolutely.
So yes, the sheriff's
We're
department's
very
not your
proud
thing.
of
There's many other great.
Yes, if you're not looking at law enforcement, but you're looking for a job, go to the Chaves County website.
Absolutely.
We have the county has a lot of different positions available, and I'm sure you'll find one to suit you, or one will stand out to you. But again, it's a great place to work.
Jobs
great
of
people.
Family raising jobs.
It is a
careers,
family.
with
It is a family
benefits
environment
and retirement plans
Absolutely.
and all kinds of stuff.
Because it's important. People can talk the talk, but it's important to know how to walk the walk. And what that means is people always say, "Oh, it's a family environment," but it truly is.
Absolutely,
it truly is.
I would imagine this is part, and probably people don't understand, is they'll spend all dang day together.
Yes.
And then on their day off, they'll go to the lake together or something.
Yes.
It's like, didn't I just look at you like all
I
day
can't
long?
wait to get out of here and get away from these people. Hey, what are we doing this weekend?
I'll see you tomorrow at the lake or whatever. Yeah, that's just what it is.
Exactly.
You know? Military's the same way.
Yes. Yeah. Can't stand to be away from them.
Exactly.
And love to be.
But you know what? We are different people, like in and out of uniform. Like even when you're joking at the office, it's different kind of joking than when you're sitting around a campfire. It's just different.
Yes. Ha ha. You know, it's that whole structured laugh versus
exactly.
crazy
the hair
laugh.
comes down a little.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. Not yours and mine.
Yeah,
but,
not on the head. I got plenty of hair other places.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you all can see, we get our haircut at the same place.
Twinsies.
We're trying to bring the bald back.
We get a couple more of us together. We put our heads together. We can
bird some ants.
We can power cities.
That's right. Absolutely.
The Chrome Dome Brigade.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, it's because we have so much, going on up there. It just burned off the hair.
I mean, we're geniuses too, so that puts off a little heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Venting. It has to vent.
Gotta
That's
vent,
exactly
so.
right.
Awesome. Well, Charles, as always, appreciate
it's always
the visit.
A pleasure.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Stay safe and
absolutely.
Every single deputy and every law enforcement, tell them we're so thankful for what they do on a daily basis.
Well, we thank the public for supporting us and for everything that the public does for us and the businesses around Travis County. Once again, 624-6500.
Shout out to all these. Like I said, when I do the ride-alongs and things, and we have some amazing restaurants that they don't let deputies pay for lunch. They try, but they don't let them. And that's so cool. Thank you guys for doing that.
Once again, thank you, everybody. 624-6500. If you know of a crime that's been committed or you have information, you can always remain anonymous.
Absolutely.
If you're interested in applying, go to chavezcounty.com or .gov and look at the website.
Absolutely.
If you have an event coming up and you'd like for myself, the sheriff, or somebody from the sheriff's office
assistance
to come
from
and
the department,
we are happy to do that.
Absolutely.
By all means.
And like you said, if you see a big citywide or countywide event, odds are you'll see some deputy sheriffs there.
If you want to visit,
come on, talk and have a chat with them. So.
If you want to visit, come by the office. Again, you never need an appointment and you don't need an invitation.
That's right.
You're welcome anytime.
And if you mess around out there, you'll get to see it sooner than you wanted to.
Yeah. Certain parts of it, yes.
That's right, not all of it, but
you're right.
A few rooms where they'll have some questions and things.
Yeah, you're going to show you the back part and then
place where they, we'll see the photo studio. We'll see the print studio.
Turn off the lights when you're done.
We'll call them studios to make it sound nice for you.
Yes. They're apartment size studios.
It's Owen Mills over there. You got Owen Mills over here.
Yeah, one room. Absolutely.
Plenty of light, though.
Yes. No waiting.
It's all fluorescent, but plenty of it.
Sure, absolutely. The bed's a little hard.
That's right. Yeah. But, it's firm back. It's good for you.
Yes.
So, thank you as always, Charles.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank you, Travis County. Have a great day.
You too.
All right.
8:57. Let's take a quick break before news. Don't go away.
The Trump administration has taken aggressive action against the media by shutting down Voice of America and limiting AP's White House coverage. The FCC currently has open investigations into ABC, CBS, and NBC News. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The death toll from last week's powerful earthquake that devastated Myanmar has topped 1,700. At least 3,400 are injured, more than 300 people unaccounted for.
270 monks were taking a religious exam when the quake hit, decimating the building. 70 were able to escape, but 50 have already been found dead, and around 100 are still unaccounted for. Meanwhile, Thai authorities coordinating efforts to find anyone left alive under a Bangkok collapsed building say they have detected signs of possible life. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Freezing rain and severe storms left several 100,000 people without power across parts of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Indiana over the weekend. As of this morning, the lights have been slowly coming back on. Stocks deep in the red this morning on Wall Street. The Dow is down 127 points. The NASDAQ is off 330 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
President Trump's efforts to end the bloodshed in Ukraine have hit a rough patch. Mr. Trump is upset with Russia's Vladimir Putin for some of Putin's statements regarding the credibility of Ukraine's president. The BBC's Merlin Thomas says President Trump is threatening to act.
He said that he would slap tariffs on all oil from Russia if he believed that Russia had been at fault for not ending the war in Ukraine. And he also used very strong language. He said he was very angry with President Putin for questioning the credibility of President Zelensky as well. President Trump has been under some pressure to come up with asking for major concessions from Moscow, and we've seen those delaying tactics from Moscow as well.
Meanwhile, the war grinds on. Russian drones hit a military hospital, a shopping center, and apartment blocks in Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, killing 2 people and wounding dozens of others. News and analysis, townhall.com. The scourge of many a cotton field here in the U.S., these pests, a type of beetle, are being welcomed with open arms elsewhere in the world.
South Africa unleashing weevils imported from the United States in a bid to fight off the growth of Salvinia minima. That's an alien species of aquatic plant native to South America. Scientists will release the weevils at sites across North Africa while also setting up breeding plants to increase their numbers. They hope the weevils munch their way through the Salvinia and damage it so it sinks. Researchers warn the invasive plant, which stops oxygen from getting to the water, is now threatening to invade neighboring countries Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Mozambique. Jason Walker reporting.
And stocks are struggling on Wall Street this morning. The S&P 500 down 56 points for a loss of 1%. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody.
Ah, yes. Welcome back.
I know it's not fun, but
it can be. It's all about perspective, man.
To have a Friday, we must first have a Monday.
There you go. You cannot know True Friday without knowing True Monday.
That's right. So happy Monday. Soon it will not be Monday.
Just make the most of it. As I tell my kids, and this is the I like to leave them with a little catchphrase, and so this is what I try to tell them every day before I drop them off or before they leave for school. Do your best to be your best. Simple as that. You can't necessarily always be your best. Just do your best to be your best.
You should invest in some cardigans and start a show.
Right? Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
This is you get you some friends to hang out with. People just knock on your door.
I watched
Hit 'em with some knowledge.
I watched a thing over the weekend. It was like a breakdown of all of the SNL movies and like kind of ranking them or whatever.
Yeah.
I learned something about myself. I'm pretty sure that as a young man, child, whatever, I just liked genuinely bad movies. Because growing up, one of my favorite movies
I'm that guy too.
All time, still to this day, Coneheads.
I do. I enjoy Coneheads.
I loved that movie.
There's nothing wrong with that movie.
It's one that my family's quoted back and forth to each other, you know, like.
Why don't they show that one more often?
Because it tanked. Like it did. It was one of the worst performing movies in the
I
SNL
would put
canon.
it right there with any of the Wayne's World movies or any of those.
I would agree to a point, but it has a special place maybe just in my heart.
I'm just talking about as far as quality movies. I mean, if you're trying to sit here and tell me Wayne's World's better than Coneheads, I'm
now
like, come on, they're equally good and bad.
They did have a couple of points in this thing that I watched that I agree with. Like Coneheads in parts is borderline unwatchable for how just like when the scene in the dentist's office when he like makes his mouth all massive.
Yeah.
It's just they're not fun to look at.
But we forget the origins. We're talking about a movie based off a bit from Saturday Night Live that's goofy, goofball, cornball. And then if you think you're expecting literary masterpiece from an hour and a half version of it, you're kind of that's on you.
And they also brought up the fact that it's Wayne's World. The movies came out in the height of the Wayne's World pieces on SNL. Coneheads, the movie, came out 11 years after the last Coneheads sketch aired on SNL.
So yeah, timing was a thing.
It was
Yeah, they weren't making theme parks about Coneheads after
Right.
the Coneheads movie came out.
Yeah.
Whereas Wayne's World, like I remember, especially if you went to Paramount themed parks that are owned by Paramount, like King's Dominion, which was one in Virginia,
right,
near my stomping grounds back growing up. There was a section of King's Dominion that was Wayne's World. They had a coaster, they had the gremlin, they had it was a little section of the park that was Wayne's World themed. I'm pretty sure that's all gone now because no one cares and it's something else. But back when I was a teenager, I was Wayne's World.
But yeah, no, it was interesting to see because I guess I just like bad movies. Because the other one that they panned on this one was Night at the Roxbury, which is another one that
I like that movie.
I loved that movie.
It's they're all stupid in their own way.
Yeah.
They're extreme stupid. Every one of Wayne's World, they're all SNL bits, and I don't know. If you like the SNL bit, you're gonna like the movie.
Yeah.
If you didn't like the SNL bit, you're probably not gonna like the movie.
That being said, the Night at the Roxbury bit, the SNL bit, was probably one of the least likely to get the movie treatment because they don't ever talk in the bit. Like it's just the heads, just the dancing.
Yeah.
And so to flesh that character out, they said though that it was one of the most fun movies to make because these characters had nothing established other than they liked to go to the club.
I think had I been involved in the writing and creating of the Night at the Roxbury movie, I think I would have took a page from a one Mr. Bean and filmed it and created a story where they rarely spoke. Maybe they say one or two things, but mostly it's that stuff.
Yeah.
I would have incorporated that way.
Yeah, which is why the Bean movie didn't work as well internationally as the series because there has to be dialogue in the movie.
But watch the Bean movie. He barely speaks.
He does.
I think he says one thing throughout the whole movie, just like he does in the TV show.
Right.
The rest of it's all gestures and a few grunts and mumbles, but words, no.
I need to go back and watch the Bean movie. That's
the first one. I think they made a second one.
I'm sure they did.
But the one with where he gets the job as a museum. There's a speech scene. That's the time he talks, where he gives his speech. And then, what are your thoughts? And he's like, and he really says like two sentences, and everyone thinks he's a genius. And so that's right. The Whistler. We're basically cleaning Whistler's mother, and actually wipes the face off by accident.
Oh, right.
Because it's Mr. Bean.
God, yeah, I have to go back and rewatch that movie. Johnny English is another one that's of his that's great.
Yeah. Now that one I haven't watched that much. I was like, I don't want to hear my Rowan Atkinson talking.
There's one part of that movie that sticks in my head and I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And that's it. I can't remember which character. I think it's the main villain has a tramp stamp tattoo that says,
I vaguely remember that.
Jesus is coming. Look busy.
distinctly remember that. See, my problem is Johnny English and the Leslie Nielsen Spy Hard kind of meld together in my head a lot. So sometimes I'm like, which movie was that from again? Is that a Bean or is that a Leslie Nielsen joint?
Spy Hard's another one of those unsung of the parody movies.
Yeah, I will, to this day, my one seeds are the Naked Gun movies for Leslie. I mean, Airplanes is a favorite movie of mine, but if you ask me Leslie Nielsen movies, I go.
I
like
agree.
Airplane I look at as more ensemble-y.
Yeah, Airplane isn't a Leslie Nielsen joint.
Yeah,
Airplane is. I mean, he's a heavy hitter in
It's
it.
a Zucker joint.
It's a Zucker joint, but as far as like a Leslie Nielsen movie goes,
he's
Naked
not the
Gun
main character
for sure. Takes the cake
he's
on
a side character in Airplane, where he's the main character in the Naked Gun.
Right.
I mean, yes, you have OJ and Priscilla Presley and all that in there, but
you need Frank Drebin.
But you got Frank Drebin, which, by the way, if you haven't watched any of the Naked Gun movies post OJ trial, it does hit a little different.
It is. It really does.
When you see the scenes, you're like, the scene where he's got in the bed getting folded up and all that. You're like, man.
The scene with the wheelchair and the baseball. It feels kind of vindicating.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Like, yeah,
it's a little different.
you deserve that.
It does. I don't have time for my rant. Let's try some food.
All right, well, cool. We'll set it for next hour. So I was at the, I have to give him a shout out, the All Subs at McGaffey today, and I was just grabbing a soda or whatever, and I see this out of the corner of my eye. I'm walking out the door, and I went, I turned around, I walked, and I bought this because I said I do a morning radio show, and we need to try these. So
for the sake of humanity, we must
there's
eat these.
a lot of these like brands that are pretty hit or miss when it comes to new iterations of their items.
I gotcha.
Oreo's almost always a hit.
Yeah.
But
I would say Kit Kat's one that kind of is hit or miss.
Reese's has tried a lot of stuff recently.
And I've been a fan of most of Reese's stuff.
And this one caught my eye because this is Reese's peanut butter and jelly.
I think I want to try this really badly.
I want to try it.
What's the jelly, by the way?
It's grape jelly.
Interesting.
Yes. I was just like...
The way the good Lord intended.
Because at first I thought it was the chocolate, the lava one. I was like, because it looks dark. But then I'm like, oh, that's jelly.
All right.
So with that in mind, I brought a knife so I could do a cross section so we can try a bit. And Roy, if you want to join us, you are more than welcome.
You can hear over the squeaking.
Yep.
I am. Yes.
It seems like an absolute knockout of the park combination.
It does.
But also, like, does grape jelly and chocolate work?
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think I've ever had peanut butter jelly and chocolate together in any combination before. So I'm
do this here. Okay. So I'm just trying to get it into sections so we can kind of try it a little bit.
I am highly excited for this.
Okay. So
this sounds like something I want to try.
I'm going to take a piece. Okay. I don't see jelly.
Looks like the jelly looks a little
it might be mixed in with the peanut butter. I can definitely smell it.
I think at the very bottom.
I see it. Yep.
Yeah, there's a sheen or a layer of jelly at the bottom. So it is probably 6 times peanut butter to jelly ratio.
Right. But as one would expect for a Reese's.
Well, yeah.
Sure it's going to taste like what is it? Smucker's?
Yeah, you know what it smells? It smells like the Goobers. If you ever had the Goobers where it's the peanut butter and jelly
I
mixed
just smell
together.
peanut butter, really. It's mostly.
Okay. So.
All right.
There's not enough jelly in there to make a difference. That's disappointing.
You barely taste the jelly.
It comes in at the end.
It does. It needs more jelly.
It needs more jelly.
I want to taste the jelly.
I do, but it's
The whole way.
it's very mild.
It's 50% jelly. Well, okay. It's like 40% jelly.
Now
You know what it tastes like? Jelly vapor. Like
Right.
you don't get the full jelly taste. It's just like a note of it.
Mm-hmm. Now I wonder though.
Yeah.
We did have sections of it. I wonder if maybe we got like a bad pocket.
You know, that's true. Maybe the.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's tasty.
Yeah.
You're gonna buy it, and if you like Reese's peanut butter cups, it's tasty. You're gonna like it. It tastes like peanut. But I was like, like you get the chocolate lava one. Mm-hmm. There is no mistaking the chocolate lava.
See, and I haven't tried that one yet. Is it a good chocolate ratio? Mm-hmm. Okay, so
it's enough to create a goo factor when you bite out of it. Mm-hmm. Where this doesn't. You need the jelly goo factor out of that. Yeah, I would reduce the peanut butter by about 25%. Replace that with jelly. That's what I would do on that one.
Yeah, it definitely needs. And I understand the big cup. You have to have the peanut butter to fill it. He's still not on.
I'm hitting the wrong one. I hit the button hard enough.
I don't think you understand quite what you're asking for here.
Peanut butter people.
You're asking for a messy shirt situation.
Yeah.
Well,
asking for a.
If you are in your tux,
a Gushers,
you chose to get a gooey product, that's on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing: if you bite into a Totino's pizza roll, you expect a bit of it to burst out.
Yeah,
that's part of the experience.
Unless it all burst out in the cooking,
right?
Then it's on that little cookie sheet.
Yeah, on the paper towel. Oh, I'm sorry, I microwave mine. Although air fryer is great.
I use the toaster oven usually. So there. Although I'm that guy, I'm behind it going.
Yeah,
I'm scooping up little mountains of cheese and meat.
But at the same time, I agree with you, and especially with the Reese's structure, it's less likely to spat out because of how hard the outside shell is.
Yeah, the chocolate. I think you just go a little heavier on the grape. Is there a strawberry jelly version?
Not that I've seen.
Okay,
there might be. I would be more interested to try the strawberry.
I'm surprised they haven't gone into the world of Nutella yet.
Right,
like a lava Nutella.
No, I bet it's coming.
Man,
I could taste the jelly way more than you guys could.
I taste it like a note. Like it's like you taste the peanut butter and like, I smell like a little jelly. It's almost like a smell more than a taste. So I don't know. I want more jelly.
Like it's lingering for me.
Like go talk to the donut people.
Yeah,
how they do the jelly. Do that in that thing.
Bavarian cream and peanut butter filled Reese's cup. Let's make it happen, people. Duncan, I'm looking at you.
He said that like he wants to be put in office for that.
Yes, I do. I'm as passionate about that now as you are about breakfast fish sandwich.
That's right.
Well, no, what this makes me crave.
It is Lenten season, or that season of those.
It is.
What this makes me crave is instead of a peanut butter sandwich, a Nutella and jelly sandwich.
I put that in your head.
See, I've never had Nutella and jelly though.
Like instead of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but I've just never had, I've never thought to put the jelly with, chocolate.
Neither have I, but this makes me want that.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there an Uncrustable like that?
There is. Yeah, but it's just, I think it's just
Nutella?
Peanut butter and Nutella. Or
is it
just
even peanut butter or just Nutella? The only ones I ever get of that is peanut butter and grape.
There's a peanut butter and honey one, too, which is...
Ooh, that sounds good.
Real good.
All right, we got to get the interview going. Now, that was a tease. I ain't going to lie. I want more.
There's a whole big cup.
I want to try... No, I can't eat all. Yeah, I need food. I can't start my day eating chocolate peanut butter.
I'm not bad at
I gotta put some meaty that's nasty in me that's not as healthy. All right, we're gonna replay our interview we had with the folks from American Legion Post 61 on Wednesday. We do talk a little bit about the Veteran Symposium that was this past Saturday, but there's a lot of other stuff with scholarships and things there too. So good information there. So we're gonna play that in a bit, but first, your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little breezy today and lots of sunshine. We'll be hitting about 80 for the afternoon high. Overnight, upper 40s and a few clouds, and then get ready for a very windy Tuesday. We have a front moving through the area, low pressure to our north. We will have sunshine, mid-80s on the afternoon high, but that wind gusting to 45 miles an hour. Less windy on Wednesday, sunny and cooler with a high about 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency.
The Eastern New Mexico University System is proud to present One Eastern Day, sponsored by J.P. Stone Community Bank, Thursday, May 1st, 4 to 9 p.m. on the campus of ENMU Roswell. Come join ENMU for a family fun night featuring food trucks, inflatables, face painting, info booths, and live music by Roswell's own Grupo Maldad from 7 to 9 p.m. Bring the whole family out on May 1st to ENMU Roswell and join us for One Eastern Day. Visit roswell.enmu.edu for more information. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
Do you know what the hardest part of dealing with the roofer is? Just trying to get them on the phone. Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that you can always trust Trustmark Roofing to answer our phone. Need a free roof inspection? Just call us at 575-755-ROOF and we'll answer with a live person, a real human being. Have a roofing project already going with us and need to discuss it? Just call 575-755-ROOF and we will answer the phone. No answering machine, no voicemails, and no weird robot automated attendant. That's because at Trustmark Roofing, we're all about relationships and treating people right. That's true for customers and vendors and insurance companies and employees. Anyone and everyone who comes in contact with our company. So if you have any roofing needs at all, trust Trustmark to treat you right and to answer the phone. Our number again is 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
Emerging fund managers and venture capital companies. Streamline your investment strategy with the state of New Mexico's SSBCI program. The SSBCI offers free expert support to help you access opportunities and drive small business growth. We'll help you navigate funding requirements, legal considerations, accounting, and more. Get started today at edd.newmexico.gov. That's edd.newmexico.gov. Sponsored by this station and the NMBA.
Playing dance music can help ward off mosquitoes. Now you have a reason to invite Pitbull to your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
It is good morning. It is 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from our American Legion Post 61 family, of course, Commander Lee with us, and Auxiliary President Jen and Don Weld, Vice Presidents, and about 6 other titles, too. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
You're a vice president?
Vice chair, yeah.
I know you're a first vice, but I don't know about vice president.
You know what I meant. You're number 2.
Did you join the auxiliary behind my back?
I've been number 2 for a long time.
But who do you work for? Just kidding.
I didn't realize you worked for the auxiliary now.
I've had like 4 Mondays this week, so.
Been there.
And it's only the 3rd day of the week.
Yeah. You hear that ringing in the background? That's my 4th Monday thing right there. You hear that lovely sound? That's another thing for another day.
I can barely hear it over my tinnitus.
Yeah. Well, it's like all of us have tinnitus now. So.
There is a ringing.
Yeah.
I don't normally hear
a power
ringing,
supply that's being squirrely back there. And, that's what we came into this morning. And so we're waiting for the tech guy to come in and.
Gotcha.
This is a technical term, but it's popped a tit.
Yeah.
And they have these little capacitors in there, and when it pops.
Okay.
And there's a little nipple there on top of the thing, and that's what's causing your resonance.
Well, I'll let them touch it, because it's not that I don't mind turning it off. I just don't know what's plugged into it and what else it will turn off.
Oh, you pretty much have to replace it.
Yeah. Well, that's about par for the course around here. But anyway, that's another thing for another day. That's just one of the many Mondays we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
But how's everything going with our Post 61 family? I know we've been pretty steady, kind of gearing up for things over the last, month or so here.
Yeah. Well, I know that we're going to be attending the symposium on Saturday.
Yes, that's going to be at 10 to 2 at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. I believe all of it's going to be in the Hobson Hall there.
Yeah, actually, they're going to start about 9.
Okay. The flyer thinks at 10.
I know, but that's the symposium part. Starting at 9, they're going to do taxes. So if you're a disabled veteran, less than 100%.
Okay.
And
get your taxes done.
Yeah, bring in your paperwork.
Bring your paperwork in. You can file to get your taxes lowered by whatever percentage.
I gotcha.
You were rated. So, for instance, I'm at 60%, so I can take 60% more off of my taxes.
Okay.
As long as I file for it.
State or federal?
I think it's state only.
Well, if you're getting a refund, you get that much back, that much more back.
I don't think
Wouldn't that be nice?
I don't think it has anything to do with
I love this new math.
Right?
I think it's all property tax.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's with the symposium on Saturday. There's like the tax stuff there too. I know like if you live in Chaves County and you're a veteran, they do give you a discount on your taxes, and all you gotta do is go down there and show proof of veteran.
The two that are automatic is you can file for head of household and military, and you get a certain percentage.
Yeah,
Anyway, it's like 15% or something like that. I cannot remember for the life of me. I did it years and years ago. But now with the disability stuff, which got pushed through last year, they finally have the infrastructure to get that going.
Yeah. Also, while we're talking about Saturday, want to put this on people's radar too. Our, I guess you could say, sister post, Post 28. They're going to be doing a Vietnam veterans
in the evening
ceremony.
Vietnam Day.
Vietnam Day for Vietnam Day. That'll be at 6 p.m. at Post 28, which is there on Montana, and they're going to recognize. It's a 20. I can't remember the exact number.
Can't remember what the number is.
But every veteran we lost during Vietnam from Chaves County, they're going to be honoring them, and it's I want to say like 21 or 22, but I don't remember the exact number. And so they're going to honor each one of those individuals. So hopefully,
I know Lou Mestis called me specifically and wanted me to go to it, but my stamina just isn't there anymore.
I get you. But
if I want to be at the symposium from 9 to 2, it's like
that you're spent after that. I
will be.
I hear you. But if we'd love, and they really, I was talking with Louis the other day, and they said they would really love if there's family from some of these Vietnam vets that we're honoring still living in the area. They'd love to have you join them on Saturday here at 6 p.m. They're gonna, and they'll do the ceremony. I think they're gonna have refreshments and things like that. But this is one of the as Vietnam Day we go through, they always make a point to want to honor those veterans every year. So but that'll be also on the 29th here is it's kind of a big veterans party all day Saturday.
And then the Legion just turned 106.
Which there you go.
Yeah.
So
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a fun party. There was cake.
We should go get a little party horn to go with our hats for the month of.
There you go. There you go.
I'm just trying to get people to pay their dues.
I'll write you a check here if you tell me what I got to owe here before I leave. It's sitting here right there. That's where I always sit. So.
85.
Okay. Is that the missus too?
No.
All right. Well, what's hers? I'll just write you one big fat check.
50. 135.
All right. So. But yes, that'll be coming up on Saturday here. If you have any questions about that, this is the symposium's put on through the Health Council and the Together with Veterans organization, which is kind of within that. So any questions you have about the event on Saturday, you can call 211, and they will be happy to answer those questions. And by the way, if you have questions about anything health related that's not emergency, flood stuff, FEMA stuff, any of that stuff, 211, they can help you navigate that stuff. So.
Yep.
And I want to put out a call to anybody that's willing to cut grass. We're going to need to start cutting grass again.
Out of memory lawn.
Yeah, because it's spring and the grass has sprung.
It has.
Yes, it has.
Mostly in the form of weeds, but
it's green stuff. We'll call it grass.
I've not heard from Islas in a couple of months. He was going to bring out his sheriff's posse.
All right. Well,
I haven't heard from him.
Well, let's see. Next time I see him, I'll put a bee in his bonnet about that. I think he's in next week or week after or something. I don't know. But, when you said the grass cutters, you ever seen the movie 16 Candles? Remember that movie way back?
I do, but I don't remember what it was about.
They had the foreign exchange student, Long Duck Dong, that worked for him. And there was a line from that, and he always kind of botched his English. And there's a line that to this day always makes me laugh. Is he was talking about, he goes, I cut grass for Papa's hyena. And he meant his hernia. Because of his hernia, he's cutting the grass. He goes, I cut grass for Papa's hyena. So that line's always stuck in my head for all these years. So when you said they cut grass, we need to cut grass. I was let's get Long Duck Dong.
Yeah.
He's cutting for Papa's hyena. But we do. We'd love to have volunteers. And here's the thing, too, is We had some folks, like I said, like Sheriff's Posse, want to organize cleanups and things. If you'd like to do that, please reach out to us too. We can see if we can, help coordinate and do all that and stuff. But
our steady mower quit on us last year, so we don't have a steady person.
No, we don't.
Yep. Yeah. We had some.
His back decided it was time to stop.
That's right. That's what happens in life.
It does. Yes.
Too bad I can't figure out a way for a drone to cut grass.
I know, right? I'm sure they've come up with it. I mean, they got a Roomba. Right? Now we just need one for grass.
I hear from Ralph about 3 times a week in the form of memes.
Yes. He's got some good ones.
Yeah. Well, some people that's like an art form for some folks.
It is, yeah.
So to put it on people's radar, in May, we're going to have, of course, Memorial Day.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's coming up here real soon.
And then right after that, it'll be like Flag Day. So we usually do a flag burning.
June 14th around in that area, and then we'll do a flag retirement of some sort.
Yeah, I should say flag retirement. I say flag burning. That doesn't come off the right way.
It's not exactly the same, yeah.
That's what I meant, flag retirement.
So if anybody has any flags that they need to have retired, let us know. We'll come get them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we would love for you to come be a part of that. Just if you've never witnessed the proper procedures for retiring a flag, that's how we do it.
It's pretty interesting and it's fun because there's usually lots of people involved all around, And
then we also give out, because what we usually do is if the star portion of the flag is still relatively, we'll usually cut those stars out, and those are mementos that you give. A lot of people keep them as keepsakes to maybe honor a lost veteran or service member, or just family member, whatever. People have various reasons for wanting one, but we usually give those away as mementos. Folks. And then of course the stripes get burned stripe by stripe, and I'm assuming whatever stars we don't give away also get burned as well.
Yep.
Yeah. That's generally, and then of course there is a ceremony involved in this stuff. But we would love for folks to come see. Bring your families, bring your young family members, so they can, see a little, U.S. decorum and
And it's pretty interesting because you learn more about the flag and what it represents and all of the colors and the stripes and everything.
We as Americans do more to unintentionally disrespect our flag than we do.
Yeah.
There's a flag code that really tells you what you're supposed to do, and almost every single one of us violate it on a regular basis.
Yeah, without knowing.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to have our regular meeting.
Yep.
And
Thursday, 6 p.m. at the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, and it's an open meeting, so anybody's welcome to come say hey. And
if you want to learn more about Legion, or just want to, maybe, or who knows, maybe you're new to town and you're a Legionnaire from somewhere else and want to hook up for some Legionnaires around town, come see us next Thursday.
Yeah.
We'd love to have that. More the merrier.
Indeed.
Or if you're maybe you're eligible to be an auxiliary member or a son of the American Legion. Maybe you yourself weren't the veteran, but maybe your spouse is. Then you can bring your both, and we sign you all up. But or maybe if you're a male member and your parents were a veteran or are a veteran, you are eligible as a son.
Also next week we're going to be at Military Heights, I guess, doing another recruitment
for scouting.
Yeah, we're trying to get our
Cub Scout pack back together here.
Cub Scout pack 61. Trying to revitalize that. We have a Cub Master that's very excited.
Yeah.
So.
And and if you want to learn more about scouting, don't hesitate to reach out to scouting, the scouting headquarters or Kinky Store Council. They can give more information about that.
I just got to get a couple of people to do their youth protection.
We'd have to do that.
Pointing fingers.
You got to sit in front of the computer and do the.
I've already paid the due.
All right.
I know.
I'll do it today.
Well, I'll do it, but not today.
I was like, I do when I want.
And then we're going to have a meeting down in Carlsbad for the district.
Yes, and that's for all of pretty much southeast New Mexico.
Right. Yeah. So there's a bunch of posts and units in this area, and then we all get together twice a year, and we exchange notes and give reports. And
because we got 2 in Roswell, Artesia's got one, Carlsbad, they got one, or how many they got? They got one post.
And
Lovington.
Yeah. So we got a handful of posts all through southeast New Mexico.
Yeah. It's 6 posts.
Yeah, the auxiliary's got 5 units.
And then the one that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess one of the Legionnaire posts don't have an auxiliary, I'm assuming.
At least one, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
2 of them.
2 in southeast here in our
Lovington
district.
and Artesia don't have an auxiliary.
Well, folks, spouses, get busy in those towns.
Yep, for sure.
And by the way, I'm going to throw it out here because most of us automatically go to females. Yes, auxiliary, by large, a number is mostly females. However, veterans' spouses are also males. There's a lot of women veterans. I know it's kind of like that doctor joke. I mean, there's like I don't know if it's a joke, but it's like one of those rhymes or like I can't remember. It's like some kind of accident and there's the kids in the room and the dad walks in and says, "Can you help my kid?" or something like that, and the other says, "No, because I'm the kid's parent." Or, I don't know, but anyway, the doctor's a woman is the whole punchline of the whole thing. But it's kind of one of those moments here with America. You know, we think of auxiliary and we think of women because.
For 100 years, it was just a women's organization.
Well, yeah, because there wasn't a lot of women veterans officially.
That's true. Right.
So they were, but they weren't on the official rolls here. Go look at Civil War history. See how many boys and women were soldiers.
Yeah, for sure.
Fighting.
Yep.
You got it.
Yeah.
And then, interestingly enough, April is the Military Child Month.
Okay.
So there's you have the POW ceremony for POWs and MIAs, but there's also a table that honors the kids of service members.
Okay.
Because they have their own set of challenges that they have to deal with.
Absolutely.
So it's...
Well, and I'm sure there's people in our listening audience that are kids of military. They're military brats.
Or they have their kids' friends are that way.
Yeah, because every time you establish a relationship, you get orders and move.
Right, exactly.
It's really tough for kids. Yeah.
So it would be interesting if you have a chance, just share it with some of your students, or if you have kids, explain to them what this military child's table is.
Okay.
And it'll help open their eyes to some of the challenges that their peers may be
Interesting.
facing.
Very cool. Yeah, because you're right. That's something, and we say it all the time. When you're married to a military member, all of you are in the military. That's just the nature of the beast. And but the kids really, they do get that big impact. I mean, by and large, there's a lot of positives because generally those kids are more worldly because especially if they've got stationed overseas and things, you experience but at the same point, friends, relationships, all those, that side of growing up as a kid is not as cemented for them. So it's a mixed bag. It's I'm going to take a stab that like when you see those kids that are pretty articulate but kind of socially awkward, I'd say there's a high percentage of probably military brats.
Could be, yeah. Could be.
Just putting that number out there. But so that's kind of interesting. So something else that we kind of look for here in the month of April.
Yeah.
Good deal. What else do we want to put on radars here? Just come to the meetings, come be a part. Also, I invite you to check out our website, roswelllegion.org. If you see 3 L's in the middle, you nailed it.
Yep. It looks weird, but that's the way it's spelled.
And then you can go there, scholarship applications. We can start filling those out. I know we've just did one here last month or so.
Yeah, for some strange reason, and the check hasn't been cashed yet.
Man, usually
I sent it out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You send that right to the school, though, right?
I did. Yeah. I sent it right to the school, and it hasn't cashed yet.
Sitting on somebody's desk over there. But if you if you are interested, we do have still scholarship money available.
Yep.
Log on to roswelllegion.org. You can see the application. You can see all the requirements for that. There's an essay. You have to be a veteran or family adjacent to veteran, immediate family, and there's some other things you got to fill out. But and basically your schooling is geared towards either STEM or first responder stuff, things like that. So, but again, roswelllegion.org, you can read all of that. And plus, if you just want to see what we're up to, nose around through our stuff and see what projects we're into and what our passion projects are. Memory Lawn obviously is one of our top things.
Well, and then that's the other website, memorylawnroswell.org. You can donate if you want on there. We need money to replace flags and
we've got a lot of plans,
stuff like that.
No money.
A lot of zeros come with that. And like the irrigation, that's $100,000+ right there.
Yeah.
Really, we could drop $1 million in that place.
We'd like to put a columbarium out there at some point.
Yeah. So, but
that's
like
going to
I
be
said,
about $30,000.
We can't sell enough potholders and to do that kind of thing. You know what I mean? We need help from the public here, and I know there's a lot of families that have a lot of family history attached to that cemetery. And believe it or not, and I think people have been here a while believe it. That cemetery was pretty much forgotten and was grown over and in much worse shape than what you're seeing out there today. Now, by no means is it what we call great shape out there.
Yeah.
But it is light years ahead of how we were handed it. And so we're trying to maintain and keep it going, but we're a Legion post. We're not a business. And so, you know, it's a little bit, it's a business passion of project nonprofit. So if families that have family members there, they want to contribute, donate to help, whatever money you donate.
And every little bit helps. I mean, give up a Starbucks coffee for the week and, you know.
Could be gas for lawnmowers. It could be for whatever
$5,
more.
$10, it don't matter.
Every little bit helps. And
all adds up.
And I'm going to take another stab, too, that if there's some organizations looking for some first service projects, some scouters or some stuff.
We could use you.
We could find a few different tasks out there that we could meet those needs for whatever your civic organization is or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Goals to our family.
Absolutely. Love to have that as well, too. But trust me, we are trying. We're trying to keep that thing going and doing our best. Put it this way. It's $1,000 budget just to fly a flag over. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Right. I mean, it's that. I mean, because you just can't go to your average hardware store, buy an American flag, and throw it up.
And we just had the POWMIA flag repaired. I don't think we put it up yet.
Yeah, no, it's just the amount of winds we deal with, and it's up there 24/7.
Yep.
We literally we'll go maybe half a year before a flag is too
that's what it's been coming out
beat up to be used anymore.
Yeah.
About a half. So and those flags are they're like $1,000 a pop here. They're not cheap. These are,
and we do repair them when possible.
Oh yeah, we don't just throw it away or just retire it. We try to trust me. We have some auxiliary people and people that know some folks that have helped us multiple times in getting the heavy duty stitching, the heavy duty repairings on these different flags. But you can only do that so many times before the flag is just not enough left to do that with.
Right, exactly.
So, but again, these are just, we're not trying to cry poverty here. We're just trying to explain to you that this business, this operation is much more expensive than people think.
I'm perfectly happy to cry poverty. I was going to say, but we are in poverty there.
If the shoe fits.
Well, and I understand people see things and we don't like it and they judge. And I'm like, trust me, we are aware of what we're trying to fix all these things.
See, that's the nice thing about
baby steps at a time.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the memory lawn, though, is if you don't like what you're seeing, it's a community project.
Mm-hmm.
So make an effort to change what you don't like.
Come more, rather than come with problems, come with hands to help fix those.
Come with shovels.
Yep. Come with shovels. Come with support. Come be a part of it.
Lawnmowers.
Yeah.
Lawnmowers.
Absolutely.
Weed eaters. We got an edge around all of the.
There you go.
And I know
headstones.
And I know that this is not the time of the season, but since we're talking about memory lawn, I figure I put this bee in people's bonnet while we're doing it. Every year around the holidays here, we do Wreaths Across America.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's our goal is to make sure every single veteran, first at memory lawn, and then we'll go from there. Has a wreath on their grave during the holiday season.
And you can donate to Wreaths Across America all year long.
That's why I kind of mentioned now. I know it's not on people's radar, but you go to our website right now. There's a link to Wreaths Across America, and you can purchase a wreath for this upcoming
$17 a pop.
Yeah. And is it 17 now?
They did raise it this past year.
Yeah. Get it in early, and that way we for sure have it.
Yeah, because it'll all count till because our deadline for this year is sometime in November here. But
and Wreaths Across America is more than just the wreath. So your money's not just going to pay for a wreath that will be disposed of later. They also do education and all of that sort of thing.
It's veterans work on the front end and the back end. Here.
Exactly. Right.
All those wreaths are made by veterans. Basically, veterans that were needing opportunities, things like that, they basically incorporate them into this. They also, these same veterans go into various other programs, or if they have mental health needs or whatever those needs are, they're addressed through that.
Just to point out, we don't sell these wreaths. These are sold by Wreaths Across.
Yeah, we're the middleman. We're just really the straw, the conduit.
We make no money off of this at all.
It's a pass-through.
This isn't even an American Legion project.
Yeah.
It's just something we facilitate.
We find their organization very important, and we want to do our part to support that.
Their mission supports ours, and our mission supports theirs. So,
but they do, and I invite you, if you do go, click the link to the Wreaths Across America. But if you want to do some more research about their organization, there's links
so
there.
Cool.
And you can read about all the scholarships for families, to the work they do directly with veterans, and all that goes for those $17 a wreath you're paying.
Yeah. Right.
So.
And in order to distribute those wreaths, there's a lot of truck drivers
that
step up and say, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's all volunteer.
Those truck drivers volunteer that day.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, it's people, doing what they can to help. And yes, it's ceremonial and pageantry, but what's behind that ceremony and pageantry is what's the deep
Right.
part.
We want to make sure that our veterans are honored and not forgotten.
And that's the big thing too, is that every wreath that sits out there is a message. So when some child comes out there and they ask, Daddy, Mommy, what is that about? You can tell. And
exactly.
It's the same reason why every Veterans Day, Goddard High is packed with a bunch of people and turning into a rock concert, and all our other schools around town. We want to show why the role of the veteran is important in our society.
Right. And I've been to a few of those, and as a non-veteran, I watch the veterans, and I see the look on their face, and it makes a big difference.
Oh, they're blown away.
Yeah,
they can't.
It does.
I mean, I talk about it, but unless you sit there and see it, it's
it's impressive.
Kind of hard to wrap your head around, because at first, and I know from veterans' brains, you're kind of like, oh, you're just, oh, okay, what, you know what I mean? Like every time you were coming, I don't know about y'all, but every time in my military, I come in a room and everyone's clapping. I'm like, oh, crap, what'd I do?
What did I mess up this time?
I was like, what are they about to hit me with? Because usually I end up taped to a chair.
Yeah.
So I get it. But, yeah, it is really cool. So
You must have had a really interesting time.
I'm a weapons troop. Things were different in the weapons shop. But yeah, we would love to have. So please come to our website. Come read more about this stuff, and please learn about Wreaths Across America and what great work they do too.
And there's 300 veterans out at Memory Lawn, but as we know, South Park and McBride also have lots of veterans.
We get, like, lately we've been getting around 150 to 200 wreaths on average. We could get 3 to 4 times that amount and still be missing, cover everybody in Roswell.
Right.
So that's kind of what we the more the merrier. We would love it. That's what I'm telling you now. When no one's thinking about it here in March, hey, if you got a few minutes, check out our website. Go ahead and maybe buy a wreath or 2 or 10.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if everybody in Roswell gave about, say, $5, that would cover for years.
You're absolutely right. That would be, even $5 here, make that donate. And I think there is a button to donate there on the website, isn't it?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, so you can go and donate direct while you're there, looking at scholarships and the other stuff.
And if you don't want to do the $17 to memory or
for Wreaths
Across America, you can go to the RoswellLegion.org and donate there, and just put in the memo line what you want it to go towards.
Yeah. If you say this is strictly for Memory Lawn, or this is for scholarships, or this is for just you don't tell us, we'll just do it wherever we need it, baby.
Right.
Whatever hole's got the biggest leak right now.
Yes. Yes.
But if you earmark it specifically for a thing, we will make absolutely sure that's exactly what it gets you.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we only have so many fingers to put in the dikes.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although we can get some gum, that might buy us a few more.
Till the bubble pops.
Yeah.
It's all
bazooka.
Yeah. I think it was Vegas vacation.
I didn't even know you were Dutch.
Dutch Irish.
There you
go. Okay.
But again, and of course, again, if you have any questions about everything, RoswellLegion.org, or better yet, come visit with us next Thursday, 6 p.m. will be our monthly meeting for the month of April at the Roswell Chamber of Commerce here on 2nd Street.
And the auxiliary has started up again doing our project nights.
Yeah, every Thursday.
So tomorrow night we will be meeting at the chamber.
Yeah, 5:30, right?
Yeah, 5:30 is bring your own meal, and then about 6 o'clock we break out the scissors and the glue and sewing machines.
That way you don't accidentally have your fingers stuck together while you're trying to eat your sandwich.
Yeah, that'd be kind of awkward. Yep.
That's what happens.
And I don't know anything about sewing, so you don't have to be super crafty. We got projects for everybody.
It's kind of an assembly line.
It is.
Where, you're good at cutting. All right, you're going to cutting stuff. You're good at sewing. You're sewing stuff. You're good at stuffing. You're stuffing stuff.
Yeah, and like many people in Roswell, we're hoping to gear up for not only Farmers Market, which is coming up, but the Reno air races.
Yeah, we got a lot to get. We got
we
got
figured-
a lot of events coming up to put our party dress on for here. So we're prepping for that here. Yes, we will be back here right after UFO Festival when they start the Farmers Market downtown. We'll be back there, and of course, we're going to be out and about during the National Championship Air Races here in September.
Right.
Which
So
will that's September. It's like around the 10th. It's the Wednesday
10th
through
to the
the
14th.
Sunday. Yeah, it's that Wednesday through the Sunday there in February or in September.
Yep.
September.
But be warned, you're going to notice a bunch of activity in May. Because that time every single pilot that competes in air racing has to get certified on the track. So there's going to be hundreds of pilots all coming in. So it's going to be like a dress rehearsal a little bit in May.
Yeah.
For some of this stuff. So
How many people are they expecting in September?
I don't like. I've heard numbers around 50,000.
50. Okay.
That's
so we're gonna double. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of for this first one. They're expecting numbers around 50,000.
Okay.
We'll see.
You've got pilots already out there practicing, learning the track. And,
they're competitors. Yeah, they're studying their craft and doing their thing just like any other athlete or anybody else
That's
doing
right.
their thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
and it's highly exciting. Go check out airraces.org. If you don't know anything about the air race stuff, that's their website, airraces.org. You can see everything, the different classes of the different planes, because they basically go from everything from like a run with your brung type mindset, to more NASCAR, where every plane has the exact same specs. It's all on the pilot, and then they do course racing, they do drag racing, they do jet aircraft, they do everything from like old World War II stuff to
It's
to
so
jets.
much fun to watch.
It's pretty crazy. So airraces.org. It's definitely worth a.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's going to be an air show, so you're going to see Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, one or the other every year, military aircraft. So it's going to be a honest to goodness air show too.
Yeah.
So
and those
all
are
that,
fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's the part I'm like, because I'm an Air Force guy. Every time they're throwing a bunch of F-16s, A-10s, and F-15s, and on the pad, I'm out there like a kid in a candy store walking around, looking at it and
I have
everything.
just received a donation.
Nice.
I like that.
Thank you very much.
$250 from Calico Cow.
Nice. That is
Angel.
wonderful.
Memory Lawn Memorial Cemetery.
Thank you, Angel. There's a speaking of angels, there's an angel right there.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm excited for air races. I mean, I'm sure I bored the living daylights out of my family. But a couple years ago, when my in-laws lived up in Tucson for a minute, we went to a air show there at Davis-Monthan, which is right there, and I ain't been to that stuff in 20 years. Man. It was kind of, and I went there and I literally, like they had A-10s roll up. I'm like, here, come here, look, see this bomb rack? See this gun? And I'm like talking. This is my job. I knew this is, and I had to know all this stuff for Air Force. Crew chiefs, they just had to know a plane to work on. Weapons troops, I know anything that carried a bomb, a chaff, a flare, a bullet. I didn't know about it. So,
right.
So I'm walking around saying, now look at this. This F-15, same bomb rack is over here on this. See that? And they were just like, that's interesting, Mike. Yeah, I know. Then they had a laser guided bomb display sitting there. I was like, oh, this is a GBU-20. You know, like, that's amazing, Mike. Yeah.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about planes, but they're still fun to watch.
That's almost as bad as me when I was going through the missile silo in South Dakota.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it went. But
pretty much when I looked at the gun, I said, where's all the stuff that's supposed to be right here?
Right.
It's like, well, they took all that out.
Right. That's I'm like, what about the? Oh, yeah, that's not on the static display, buddy.
They decommissioned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till you look at a stealth in a static display. Yeah, that looks a lot different than the real
like I
life world.
thought, there's no reason to remove them. They're classified.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of fun. So, but anyway, we'll be part of that. Please, if you'd love to learn more about what we do or get involved, like I said, check out the website, roswelllegion.org. Come to our meeting next Thursday at the Roswell Chamber of Commerce, 6 p.m. There on Thursday, April, whatever that first Thursday is. I can't remember the date, but it'll be there. Or if you want, come out tomorrow.
Bring your spouse.
Yeah, bring your spouse. Bring your family, kids. Like I said,
Yeah, we got Pack 61 that needs kids.
Well, and to be honest, we have a couple teenagers in our son's organization too. So the whole family can get involved here.
Yep.
Technically, the babies. I mean, we're not going to make them officers, but
Right.
the babies can even be.
Yeah, so long as they're born, you think they can be members of the
How
auxiliary?
old? 6 months? We got a commander.
I would like to think that I have more skills than a 6-month-old.
Yeah, but you're running the whole legion. I'm talking the sons. We can get away with that. We can get away with a
that on the
6-month-old.
Hell, president of the auxiliary.
Yeah. Ay.
I kid, of course. Again, RoswellLegion.org. Come check us out, and please, and
So they got tryouts for your job here, right?
that's right. I'd love
Come
to
do
sleep
the
in.
Mike Winters program on Tuesdays.
You know, I'm here today, but I could easily say something and be gone tomorrow. So
Could, yeah.
It's
I don't know if it's easily so.
This world.
It's whatever you can get away with. Right?
I've cemented myself to make myself kind of valuable. So that does.
Hey,
help.
there you go.
That does
That's
help.
important.
But even though I could burn a bridge pretty easily, I say the one wrong thing and bye bye Sally. So, but anyway, please join us. I'd love to have and if you want to learn more, please. And don't hesitate to look at like American Legion nationally if you want to know what we do on the national level and it's pretty much American Legion is when it comes to Congress, we're the official voice for the veteran. I know that VFW and everybody else, but we're literally an act of Congress. So
yes, we are.
And don't hesitate. Go to legion.org and you can go to the grassroots center there. You don't even have to be a veteran, and you can voice your opinion on any bills that are going on in Congress right now.
Yep. And there's a lot of them, and they're very important.
Yep. And legion.org will keep you on the radar of many of those veteran-related stuff.
Yep.
Good deal. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Mike.
We'll see you here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but we'll see you next time, if not sooner.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And Don will be back wearing a different hat tomorrow. So
Tomorrow morning.
That's right. Now he's got
not
a zoo
even
hat.
wearing a hat right now.
But he's got so many hats. He's got a zoo hat. That's what he'll be wearing tomorrow. So. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
That's kind of like the zoo hat, marine hat.
I thought it was being a skinhead today.
A different zoo.
That's right. Different animals, same zoo.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
9:55. Let's play news and a quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
Bowing to the will of the American people if he did so.
The president told NBC News that he's not joking about exploring ways to overcome the U.S. Constitution, which limits presidents to 2 terms in office. He talked about it later with reporters aboard Air Force One.
I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. I said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that.
The 22nd Amendment says no one can be elected president more than twice. Greg Clugston, the White House.
A heads up for some rough weather across parts of the country today.
In general, it's close to around 70 million people that could potentially be impacted by the severe weather as we go over the next couple days.
Mark Chenard at the National Weather Service saying that today parts of the east could see strong thunderstorms, bringing heavy rains, possibly hail, and even isolated tornadoes. On Wall Street, the Dow is down about 126 points. The Nasdaq off more than 300. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Despite last week's deadly earthquake, Myanmar's military rulers have kept on attacking opposition groups in that politically divided country.
Myanmar was already fractured before this earthquake struck. 4 years of civil war following a military coup have displaced more than 3 million people. The shadow National Unity government that was set up to oppose the junta says it is suspending attacks on the Burmese military for 2 weeks. But the military is continuing airstrikes, with reports of an attack on rebels in Kachin state, which borders China.
That's the BBC's Nick Beak. The Israeli military has issued sweeping evacuation orders covering most of Rafah, indicating it could soon launch another major ground operation in the southernmost city in the Gaza Strip. Israel suspended the ceasefire with the Hamas terrorist group and renewed its air and ground war. That happened earlier this month. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Elon Musk company Neuralink is looking to trademark the words telepathy and blind sight.
The brain-computer interface company filed applications with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to trademark the terms earlier this month. The applications are for new Neuralink products, including telepathy, which is a brain-computer implant that lets users control devices with thoughts, and blind sight, an implant that hopes to restore vision in the blind. This, as leftists are firebombing Tesla dealerships, vandalizing Tesla cars, and threatening Tesla drivers. Tasha Stevens reporting.
President Trump's efforts to end the bloodshed in Ukraine have hit a rough patch. Mr. Trump is upset with Russia's Vladimir Putin for some of Putin's statements regarding the credibility of Ukrainian President Zelensky. President Trump is threatening to act by imposing even tougher sanctions on Russia. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes. Welcome back to the grind.
Yeah. And we got a whole lot of everything. I think we got a little bit of all the seasons this week. We got hot, windy, and wet season all in one. We don't get winter. We get hot, wet, and windy. So, sort of wet.
We get all of our weather one at a time.
Yes, it'll be this week. So,
It all lines up.
We're getting the hot and warm this part. By the end, it's the wet and windy.
You know what it reminds me of? This seems to be a reference to the movie of the day, but Airplane. That scene in Airplane where the woman's losing her mind and everybody's lined up to shake her and slap sense into her. That's the weather this week for us.
That's right.
It's like you got the sun and then the wind's right behind it with a baseball bat.
Well, using that line as a reference, about Thursdays where the guy with the lead pipe shows.
Wasn't there like a Hare Krishna in that line or something?
I think it was around the Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Of course, sometimes it's a lot of talk and then it kind of peters out to, it rained for a minute. You see it? You blink if you missed it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, isolated sprinkles is really the only way you could have described the rain that we got.
I was going to say Thursday's more akin to just a guy with a bucket of water.
Well, I was keeping the
it's not as painful.
You have to watch the Airplane movie to catch the reference. There's a guy, like once you see line, there's a guy with a lead pipe in there, and by the end, I think they got like a hand grenade and everything else. But anyway, so I want to get real quick.
I don't want to go on a rant or anything.
Yeah, but it's just something that I think we all been duped.
Okay,
all of us,
and
I think that the duping, the level of the duping, so deep.
Do I need to check for a matrix?
That the people duping us don't realize they're duping us because that's just the way it is.
Okay,
and I'm talking about tipping.
Mm-hmm.
Now
you're just now.
No. But here's the thing that kind of it's just kind of because I know we're entering in the dawn of the tipping ridiculousness now, and yes, when I was out and about in my weekend of getaway of leisure, I did incorporate one of these moments where I'm literally walking into the what in essence is the 7-Eleven of the Mountain Gods there.
Yeah,
where you can buy shirts and drinks and whatnot. So I literally walked in there. I'm just going to stop saying it. I walked in there and grabbed 2 bottles of water and went up to the counter to pay for them. And yes, they were asked for a tip for that. And I was like,
turn the screen around.
Well, no, it wasn't that point, but it was on the thing where you go to, enter your amounts and all that.
Right.
A tip. And I did not include a tip on that one. And I'm one of those people that my wife gets on to me, but even if you do like to go.
Right.
And yes, I put...
Just because you ask for one does not mean you...
Correct.
Now, were they kind of aloof about it? Did they kind of just walk away and do something else? Or
no,
were
I
they
don't
just
know.
staring at you while,
no, because
waiting for you to do it?
To be honest, I don't know. There was, at that point, the transaction was done, so I had my water. And
That's fine. You can press the no tip. It's that little button with the employee that pulls the sandwich out of its mouth.
Well, and I did not tip in this instance,
Sure.
but it got me thinking. And I had a lot of time to think on my hands because while I was leisuring in that hot tub, I had thoughts. But anyway,
Mike's just sitting in a parboiled water, stewing,
doing
in his own juices,
thinking,
happy as can be, just a lark,
letting water fall on his thought-provoked head.
In between, I should get another piece of pizza.
He's like, I should buy a boat.
That ice cream cone looked really
Mike
good.
treats Into the Mountain God like a sandals. It's all inclusive. It's fine.
I'm here. You're getting enough money from me. I'm going to hang out.
But
you're getting a lot of my money. I'm kicking up my feet a bit.
But I will agree with you.
So here's what. But here's where I was thinking.
Okay.
For those of you who may or may not know, much of Europe, in restaurants, tipping is not a thing.
Right. In fact, it's discouraged.
Yes. And I'm sure the practice of tipping started, in the restaurants. And I don't have a problem tipping a restaurant. I think, if a person does good work, you give them a tip for that kind of work. And I understand. And we live in this world today where as waitresses, you have to tip because that's the only way a waiter or waitress can make a living.
Servers' wages are $2.60 an hour.
And this is where I'm getting to back. We've all been duped.
Okay.
We've all been duped because every other business industry, you get product, you pay for product. That's how it works.
That is product, yes.
The cost of the product is varied into what it costs to make it, what it costs to get it to you.
Right.
When I buy a sleeping bag online. I ain't tipping the guy stuffing the sleeping bag. I ain't tipping the guy shipping the sleeping bag to me. I ain't tipping the guy. And people are like, well, and this is where I'm like, well, why is the restaurant industry different? And this is where the people, and this is, I see waitresses, and I'm not trying to berate staff, or I think the industry said it, because then you talk to waitresses, and I see it all the time on like social media, where the wait staff says, this is why you should tip. And then they'll say things like, I have to give a percentage of my tip to the bus boys and everybody else. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is the waitress or waiter having to pay all these people for this? Is the restaurant's job.
Right.
The cost, you go to Europe, you ain't paying all those people. The cost of the product is factored in. What it takes to pay the people. Right. We need to go back to that. Fix it.
Okay, now, so it's kind of interesting that you brought this up, because they did recently, I watched the show Last Week Tonight, John Oliver, and they actually did a whole breakdown of this, a whole essentially 30-minute rundown of this. And what they found was, and they did a study, they set up this restaurant with two different menus. One where the standard would be the prices of the product and the 15% gratuity and all that. The other menu was no tip, and the prices were factored into the price on the menu. And it was like 96% of people who participated in this study said that they wouldn't go to the place with the higher prices.
Yeah,
it's
because we've been brainwashed,
right? And it really is. It's a horrific thing that has been done. But yeah, it's the only way that razor thin margins for most restaurant owners can be met and have any kind of profit is with the tip system.
Well, and that's just it. I disagree.
Same.
We've been so brainwashed into thinking that. But I'm like, well, how come Europe pulls it off? How come all the restaurants there can pull it off?
Because
they don't seem to be
their
having
prices
a
are a
problem.
lot more expensive.
But here's the thing. But if you're not having to tip every time you turn around, you're probably paying the same price.
Right.
If people thought about it for a minute, for a half a minute, and now you don't have the guilt of expecting to deal with all this stuff.
That's the problem, isn't it? It's the shame.
That's what it comes down to. Is I feel like
the guilt should be back on the people that are starting the business. The way to fix this is you need to get your national chains on board. I'm not talking that tip. Your Denny's, your IHOPs, your Chili's, your Applebee's of the world. Those where they have the actual money and ability to run the business without relying on wait staff to earn their own keep and pay for the busboy and the dishwasher and everybody else. That's the problem here. And if you can get your Olive Gardens of the world, just start with one of them where they say, you know what, we're not allowing our wait staff to accept tips. Yes, we're going to do the thing, but at the end of the day, you're going to get a better value at a cheaper price without the guilt.
Yeah.
And if you can get one company to sell that and it's going to take something big. A mom and pop can't do it, because a mom and pop also almost has to rely on the tips.
Yeah.
At that level, and that's why I'm not opposed to still tipping even afterwards. But for the original intent,
right?
Not that you're expected to do it.
Yeah.
We're not going to add a.
I 100% agree.
Especially when now tips are expected to be like 20% is an expected tip now. Back when I was a kid, that was exceptional service.
Yeah.
Now, if you ain't tipping 30%, you're a cheapskate, and it's just going to get worse until someone says, you know what, I don't need to tip for a bottle of water. I just walked 3 feet from a counter to buy and put on the counter, and I'm paying you extra to go $3, please.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when they turn this happens a lot at festivals. If you ever go to like a festival or like the fair, you're gonna go to go up to your concession or whatever, and they turn the screen around so you can sign, but also make sure to include a tip. And then the no tip is like way down here. You got to look for it.
We the public have got to, and unfortunately, the people that are going to get screwed at first are the people that really need this, and the people it's not their fault. They're really caught in the middle on this.
Right.
They're victims of the system. And we are guilted into that, and it's time for us to stop being guilted.
Well, and there are restaurants I've seen a lot of. It's funny there's so few and far between that they become news stories.
Yeah,
but I've seen stories in the news about restaurants that will put on their menu, do not leave a tip our staff is paid well. Our staff is paid well.
Mm-hmm. But this is it. A mom and pop can't do that. You need something that everybody knows, that everybody goes and says, and if it catches on there, then the others will follow.
Right.
And that's the way it's going to work.
Sure. I 100% agree that the tipping culture needs to go the way of the dodo. But
it's
especially when it's everything.
Well, along with that, I would add the whole drive-through, pay for the guy behind me culture.
Pay it forward.
Yeah. That
well,
whole.
That's it. What happens is that's someone doing a nice thing, and now it's turned into, look at me, I'm doing a nice thing.
Yes.
Why aren't you doing a nice thing?
Yes.
And that's just the world we live in. But now it's starting to get into our.
That's why I don't eat at Chili's anymore.
So you don't like charity by proxy?
That's why we need to stop. We need to stop shaming people. I won't name names. Guy whose name starts with a T. But I'm.
Hold on, I feel like
if I don't want to tip,
specific beef here.
I'm not going to eat.
I touched a nerve with Roy more.
I'm not going to eat at Chili's.
I set off a Roy
anymore because I don't want to be shamed for not tipping.
Well, if you okay, hold on.
I want to just eat my food and leave. Thank you very much.
If it's a sit-down restaurant, that is different. These are people. Now, I understand. I agree with Mike that tipping culture needs to go the way of the dodo. But since we live in tipping culture,
but it's Chili's.
They
can afford to pay their waitresses.
Yeah,
but
sure.
that's again, it's the system. The system is set up where they don't.
You can't tip for tomorrow,
and we just accept
today.
it. The system is set up where we allow restaurants to do this, and we say we got it. No, we need to call restaurants better. But you know what? You personally at Chili's doing that is just making a wait staff person angry.
Let me.
You gotta go bigger.
Let me extend to you an olive branch, a caveat, if you
will.
An
egg in this trying time.
An egg in this trying time. Chili's offers carside to go. You don't have to sit in their facility and then feel guilted into tipping. If you go in and pick up your order, you don't have to tip.
That's right. You go sit in your car shirtless.
That's it.
Well, this is also,
and I do. It's the maneuver.
That's right.
Well, the culture is recently a new thing too. Like the more rich people shaming the poor for not tipping when eating out with them.
You haven't lived until you ate tortilla soup shirtless on a hot spring day.
And then they won't come out and eat with you at your mom and pop shop of choice.
So let me ask you something. If you took, let's say, a date to Chili's, are you going to stiff the waiter then?
No.
Okay.
Now, because I know better.
Now
but,
I will.
But when I was like a motley 20-something,
A motley 20.
Now
that I'm in my 30s.
I'm not even opposed or for abolishing tipping altogether. You know, like I believe in services that you could do yourself that you're just too lazy to, you should tip for.
Sure.
You know, like shoe shining. I know that's and things like that. Things that delivery of food. Yes.
Oh, 100% tip your delivery.
But then again, pay the drivers a wage.
Yeah.
That
and that's a whole other fight for a whole other day because I have a very particular problem with rideshare services, with delivery services.
That system is again on the back.
It all falls on the backs of us, the employees.
Yeah. This is these positions of it's feudal system at its best.
If you want to get into the gig economy,
people just dumb enough to think it's great for them.
I have got my opinions. But
who's the shogun of this?
That being said,
dynasty.
Tip where it's appropriate, but I cannot stand the every situation requires a tipping scenario.
Yes, exactly. That's what spawned it when I literally the water was there, the counter was here. I went and then I saw a thing for tip. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, you are.
They sort of tapped on this on South Park when they were talking about the whole donate $1 to help feed children or whatever. Mm-hmm. And when you want to say no, that's fine. Just pull the sandwich out of the starving child's mouth.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I've been starting to do that. Like, would you? No. Would I like? You know what I like to do? I like to pay and get out of here. That's what I like to do. I don't want to feed the thing. I don't want to round my thing up to line the pockets of whatever you're doing, Mr. Walton. You know, you make 80 times more. Just cut them a check and stop nickel and diming me for it.
Would you like to round up, Mike? It was $9.02.
Yeah.
No, round down. Round down.
How about would I like to round down the bill and you just give me the 2 cent back? How about that? I'm the hungry. That's why I'm here buying this crap.
I was hungry before I got here. Feed me.
All right. I got to start my interview. I don't know if we're going to have time. So let's do this. We're going to do weather and then a quick break. And then we're going to play our interview talking with Alfredo and John talking about Matanza Fest here. So we're going to play that interview in a minute. But that, I know that seemed very old man yells at cloud, but I think it's all of us. We're all, even the restaurant businesses are required. You know what I mean? Because even like your business day, they're all like, well, this is how, yeah, I know. It shouldn't have to be. The system's not right. We need to fix it. All it takes is some big gun to move a thing a little. All right, 9:22, here's your weather.
Weather this hour brought to you by Southwest Bearing under new ownership. Custom solutions for your heavy equipment. Hydraulic hoses, hose repair, bearings, seals, sprockets, belts, tools, fluids, and fittings.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little breezy today and lots of sunshine. We'll be hitting about 80 for the afternoon high. Overnight, upper 40s and a few clouds, and then get ready for a very windy Tuesday. We have a front moving through the area, low pressure to our north. We will have sunshine, mid-80s on the afternoon high, but that wind gusting to 45 miles an hour. Less windy on Wednesday, sunny and cooler with a high about 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Get a seamless built-in look for your kitchen with a KitchenAid flush design dishwasher. With a panel-ready door and flush installation, this dishwasher fits evenly with countertops and cabinetry when installed in a standard cabinet depth of 24 inches. Shop KitchenAid flush design dishwashers at Bush Appliance in Roswell. From cabinets to appliances to installation, one call does it all. Bush Appliance, 111 West Country Club in Roswell.
The Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation salutes hunters in the role they play in providing critical funding for conservation. Celebrate how hunting is conservation at the Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation Annual Banquet, Saturday, April 12th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. The Roswell Banquet will take place on April 12th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at rmef.org and go to the New Mexico Events tab. Celebrate hunters at the Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation Roswell Banquet, Saturday, April 12th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Hey Roswell, need a truck? You're in luck. Now is your time to buy a new Ford truck for a lot less during Ford Truck Month at Roswell Ford. For a limited time, get massive discounts on every new Ford and quality pre-owned car, truck, and SUV, plus 0% APR for 72 months and no payments for 90 days. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, so we're taking care of business. Big trucks, small trucks, work trucks, we've got them all for a lot less. Making payments on your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford wants to terminate your loan or lease, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you, regardless of where you're at, for oil changes, tire rotation, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. Massive savings and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR is 13.89 per thousand finance. Interest accrues from native sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinance to new loan. Subject to approval. Offers not combined.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. Think about that the next time you want to celebrate your birthday month. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning to talk Matanza Fest, Alfredo Garcia with us this morning, and John Erard. I was almost there. Just a
You-
little.
you were close.
The tongue just went just that way a little bit. We would have had it. But good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all today?
Morning. Good, thank
Doing
you.
all right.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. John, let's put that up just a little closer to you because sometimes those mics.
Sure. How's
don't get
this?
that should do. I always tell
All
people
right.
to eat them, and we got to talking about antiquated systems and not what we were going to do next on the radio. So,
Speaking of which,
that's right. Welcome to it. Never mind. Just kidding. But folks, I think if you're native to New Mexico, you're probably familiar, or at least south, from this part of the country, I guess you could say, New Mexico in particular. You're really familiar with Matanza Fest in some, it's done in parts of the state and things. But I think for people that aren't native, I've been here about 25 years, so I'm not native, but I've been around long enough to know a thing or two. So, but kind of explain the history behind this event that we've got scheduled here on May 10th, because it really is. This goes back to like Spanish settling of New Mexico, and I mean, so we're talking like 1600s history. All right, we even got like U.S. history beat on this one
by a little bit,
exactly, just by a smidge here. But yeah, kind of give us a little bit of background about the fest.
Okay, so a Matanza Fest is a tradition that was brought into New Mexico by the conquistadors, and this is a tradition that was put in place over 400 years ago. They felt that it was necessary to have community.
Sure.
And what other way
you break
to
bread
do
with
that?
folks?
Yes.
That's how you that's why you think you go to church and you always bring food, because that's how
That's correct.
Sitting down over a meal is the best way to meet people and resolve differences sometimes.
and it was a celebration after the harvest had taken place.
Kind of like a Thanksgiving fest almost.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That's exactly right. And Don Juan de Oñate, who was the last conquistador, brought pigs and chili to the Rio Grande Valley.
And boy, howdy, do we love them pigs.
And man, are we glad.
Yep.
God bless those pigs.
And God bless Don Juan.
That's right.
So we've got that is a classic matanza. They would do a hog killing, and actually, if you look at it, it goes even further back. It goes back into the early centuries.
Gotcha.
After Christ in Spain.
Gotcha.
That's where it started, and Don Juan de Oñate brought it with him. It's been here in New Mexico about 400 years now. Here's the interesting thing. That's a matanza. A hog killing is a matanza.
Gotcha.
Well, we also have Cinco de Mayo Festival, which the Roswell Hispano Chamber of Commerce has held here for ages now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Alfredo is the president of the Roswell Hispano Chamber of Commerce.
Very good.
So the Horseshoe Nails Brigade, which is originally set up the Matanza,
okay,
and the Roswell Hispano Chamber of Commerce.
Hey, we should partner up.
We've partnered up,
Yeah.
and we're doing Matanza Fest.
Great. So this is so think of Cinco de Mayo meets a barbecue picnic.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
It's the love child.
Yes. Exactly.
But it's really so. And this is where the thing I think is where this isn't just a hog fest where you're roasting hog. There's a tradition. There's a certain way to meet the matanza, the way they cook the pig, and everything from the way it's dressed to how it's prepared. Because you get depending on what part of the country you're from, and you say you cook hog where you're at. Oh yeah, and everyone's got a different way they do it. You know what I mean? And so from Matanza Fest, I'm assuming you're not going to see a butterfly like you would maybe in another part of the state. So
that is correct. Well, and we're actually having our aim is to have 15 teams participating in the Matanza Fest. So we're actually going to have the chance to taste the culinary skills.
So we'll be all right. Now, it's cooked the same way, but the devil's in the details.
That is correct.
And the spices, what you mix with it, how you maybe you cook it this way for a little longer. It's just like barbecue.
That is correct.
Exactly.
Everybody's recipe is under lock and key.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the Hispanic May in Memphis.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So I'm very curious. Is there is it now when we get to this side? Is there really like a competitive is there people that compete professionally doing this kind of stuff? like you would with the Kansas City Barbecue Society, or is this more family? You know, like I would imagine what we're going to see on May 10th here is locals, hey, bring your family recipes here. But I didn't know if there was like an actual circuit where folks compete in Matanza cooking and you know, for like prize money and stuff. Does it go that level?
Well, they're going to be competing for prize money.
Sure,
with
here.
us.
But I
Yes.
didn't know if there was like a professional, like, you know what I mean? Like the level of Kansas City, like we turn on Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
And there's like a fest of the few pit masters. I didn't know if it got that high with them.
I don't know that we have organized it to that point
Okay.
yet, but it is our aim to
I'm just
make
saying,
it something big.
Might
That
be
is
some
correct.
interesting. I could just see that catching on as big as something like that, where you're doing Matanzas all around the state competitions, all kinds of stuff.
What's happening is that it's starting to develop.
So we're in the ground floor of this.
We're in the early stages of it, but it is starting to develop. Of course, the granddaddy of them all is the Valencia County Matanza Fest.
Yes, that's
Matanza.
Probably the one that's got the most spotlight on it.
That is correct.
The Balloon Fiesta of the Matanza.
Yes, there you go. There's one in Socorro. I know that Corrales has tried one, and now Roswell.
Bring it on.
We want to be the biggest and the best.
So your hat in the ring kind of thing.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So we're kind of building that. We're building that, who's got the best green chili kind of mindset here. It's what we do. Kind of, but we're going to do it with who's got the best Matanza. And
that is correct.
Cool. This sounds like, so now accepting applications, I guess you could say, to bring on your family recipe and see if it can hold up against everybody else.
Calling all cooks.
Good deal.
Calling all culinary devotees.
Yeah.
Calling everybody. Come to the Matanza Fest. Come and cook and bring your family recipes now.
Absolutely. I'm going to guess there's going to be some like younger folks that their grandparents have a recipe and they might have to bring them out of retirement. They'd be like, oh man, grandma or grandpa used to do this and man, it was so.
Abuelito,
Yeah.
abuelita.
Yep.
Come on down. Bring them out. I think because I know because a grandkid that ain't quite got the recipe mastered or they're eaters, not cookers, you know.
There you go.
Count me in.
Right. Well, I try to cook, but I'm a better eater than I am a cooker. I'll say that.
Yes, sir.
Well, the thing that they need to know, though, is that there are going to be 5 categories that they'll have to cook.
Okay.
And that is pozole, carnitas,
okay,
carne adobada,
okay,
and chicharrones.
Oh, man.
That's
Yes.
4.
Yeah.
And the 5th one, I haven't told anybody what it is. It's
Okay.
a surprise. It's a
Secret.
mystery basket.
Okay. So be prepared for anything on that one.
But it's all traditional New Mexico food.
Right. And I imagine, too, of course, for folks, if you're if you're going to enter, like you said, it's like all the kind of getting back to, when I was talking about the barbecue competitions, they do the same thing. They got to compete in brisket, ribs, chicken, kind of same kind of here. Pozole, it's so, one trick pony, you got to get some more tricks.
Yes. And that is what we're aiming for.
And that's what, but it sounds like this is really cool, and it's going to be and I'm gonna, of course, once you sign up, and then there'll be meetings, and then you'll know what the judges will be judging by, and the standards they're basing on your pozole on, and what's the taste kind of whatever criteria the judges are using, they'll explain all.
Well, all of that information is on our website.
Excellent.
Yes, sir. We have all the rules and regulations. We have the deadlines for when you sign up. We have the ease
Got a clock to kind of 46 days, 23 hours, 29 minutes, and 14.
We can always add milliseconds if you want to be exact.
No, 8. But yeah, it's got everything you need to know until how much time you got left till Roswell Matanza.
Yeah, and in all reality, we're doing this event because we're trying to do. It's a nonprofit, the Horseshoe Nails Brigade, and we want all of this money to go towards.
Talk a little bit about. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish it.
To our education initiatives.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about what the Horseshoe Brigade is and what kind of nonprofit work the organization does.
About 2 years ago, I was at a meeting, and I heard some statistics that caused me to say, I can't sit back and not do anything anymore. Mm-hmm. I need to get up and do something. And the statistics that I heard was Chaves County is 67% Hispanic. Mm-hmm. The Hispanic high school graduation rate is 65%.
That's not good.
And I have had many people, including educators, tell me that I'm wrong, that number is way too high. Okay? In addition to that...
So we're going to do something about that.
The other statistic that we heard was our middle schoolers, relative to the rest of the nation, in terms of proficiency for language arts, are below 50%. And as Colonel West, the chief of staff at NMMI...
I think a lot of people, if you've been anywhere around that campus, know that very well, yes.
He is our president. He's our board president. Colonel West said, if you can't read, how can you do mathematics? So the mathematics proficiency rate for our middle schoolers is roughly 24%.
Which makes sense. If the other number isn't jiving, then obviously the other one's going to be worse, because that's, like you said, you can't teach math if you can't read.
Absolutely. So when I heard those numbers, I said, I've got to do something. I didn't know what I was going to do, but then I heard about IPA, NMMI Intermediate Preparatory Academy, and it's a middle school with much higher standards, and so I said, "This is it. This is what This is where we're going to start."
And they've got a year or two under their belt now, and they're growing and getting bigger and kind of getting settled in, and kind of almost to their full potential what they want to do with this prep school.
Yes, next year they'll be complete. They'll be there. Now, here's the interesting thing about that: by the time those kids reach 9th grade, they are required, according to Dr. Leacock, who is the head of school there, by the time they reach 9th grade, they will be expected to be able to read Virgil's Aeneid in Latin.
I don't think I couldn't do it.
Well, I can tell you I couldn't.
Right?
but anyway, so
by you guys coming out and really showing off your family recipes here, and at the end of the day, we're trying to get money to get these programs going, to change these numbers, to get more more Hispanic kids back,
more kids in our community,
and that's just it too. These numbers, it's all across the board. None of the numbers are good, regardless of race, whatever you want to break it down to.
Yeah,
all of it needs to be higher, and that's what these kinds of programs, these kinds of coming out and spending time together, eating some great food, and just hanging out and bragging. Ain't gonna lie, there's gonna be a lot of brag.
So let me give you the backstory on this, a little bit of the backstory. So I went out and I knocked on doors myself, and I raised $17,500.
You knew the right doors to knock on.
last year.
That's awesome.
By just asking people, would you be willing to, and telling them about these statistics and these numbers, and everybody understands the impact, the future impact on our community with these numbers.
And it's going to be more knowledge. I mean, as the technology, as the world changes, the more you're lacking in the fundamentals, the farther you're going to be left behind.
Yeah. So we took that $17,500, gave it to the IPA. The IPA used it for their kids for lunches and supplemental expenses. And for an entire year, we covered that. Now, the interesting part is 85% of those kids are of color, and 85% of those kids come from economically distressed households.
Sure. There's other variables that are contributing to their lack of getting a good foundation.
So we spoke with a number of people, and they said, we need to broaden this out. And that's why now we are
partnering with us.
Kind of getting it together and just saying, all on board, more. And that's really, the many hands make, and this is really the more visibility, more, and this is about your own community. Is what it, that's what it boils down to. Regardless, we can play the games of, who came from where and all this. These are about people that live in your community that we're trying to make our community better, and this is how we do it. So,
well, we are trying to change the trajectory of education in Chaves County for exactly that reason.
Good deal.
So
come eat some meat.
Yep, pretty much.
Well, and there's a lot more to it than that. We've got a cornhole competition.
Oh yeah, so this is a bevy of bragging rights aplenty. Whether you're cooking or cornholing or.
And we have spectacular spectacular car show.
Yeah, that's the part that you're going to want to come for the pretty. I mean, the smells will draw you in, but then you got a lot of eye candy with these beautiful cars that are going to.
Oh, yes.
And there is as much family tradition as that meat you're going to be eating in some of those cases.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
And we're also having a bike show.
That kind of goes hand in hand because a lot of folks will kind of do sets. You know, they'll do the car and the bikes. You know, if it's the bicycles or the motorcycle, I've seen both, and they'll kind of it's a package deal. It kinda,
Yes.
It's like the whole. Sorry, fellas. It's like the whole Barbie dream set: the Corvette, the camper.
Yes, sir.
I think you've got an idea there.
Yes,
we need to do a camper show.
There you go. Why not? So, and that's all going to be now. May 10th is the date. Where's it all going to be at for folks to come and do all that? Where is it?
It's going to be held at the Southeast New Mexico State Fair.
Very good. So they're at the fairgrounds.
That is correct.
So because it sounds like you're going to need some room, and that's about the most room we got for an event like this.
Yes, sir.
So
we're going to have mariachis there. We're going to have ballet folklorico.
Oh, if you've never seen folklorica dancing, even if you don't know a thing about the history and everything, the colors, the pageantry, the excitement, you're going to enjoy it. You don't have to understand a thing about it.
Yep.
But when you see it, it's just a sight for the eyes. The dancing, the dresses,
it's a culinary and a cultural event.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think you see it and then talk to them afterwards. Learn the history. That again, everything we're talking about here is
New Mexico
tradition stuff. The folkloric dancing, even the car show, the cars, everything about this is New Mexico history. Some of it's 1600, some of it's 1950s, but some a little bit in between.
Very, very definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
All of the money is going to go to skill trades at ENMUR to develop skill trades and help them build those trades, and to NMMI, Advanced Academics and Military, and also the IPA.
All I'm saying is with the Reno Air Races and some of these things coming to town, there's a lot of skilled trades you could take advantage of to learn and make good living for yourself and family right here in Roswell.
Mike, that is exactly the idea. It's exactly
Whether
the
it's
idea.
Turning wrenches on an airplane or an air conditioner, either way, it's going to help you very much.
A very good living.
Yes, and you don't have to go to four-year college and end up with $100,000 in debt.
And to be honest, once you get it at Eastern, walk into the financial aid office, fill out your ass before, and it doesn't matter if you're going for degree plans or whatever. You know, based on what you're training for, all that, you can find all kinds of free money on top of. So please, if this lights your fire to start some of these kind of STEM mechanical related stuff, the college will help you find more money too. So don't keep turning over every rock you can find. And I don't care if you're 50, 18, come from the richest family in the planet, or a family that can't rub two nickels together. You should be in that office doing all of that.
That is an incredibly important point that we're trying to stress. Yes, we are focused a lot on middle schoolers because they're the most malleable, they're the most open to change and different ideas, right? But we also have the high schoolers with that 65% Hispanic high school graduation rate that we have to change.
And you can't succeed without. I mean, it's hard with just a high school diploma, even in this world.
Yes, it is.
Without one, it's really, really hard. And so that's the key.
And that brings us to the next point, and that is the 25 to 55-year-old that wakes up one day and says, I really wish that I had finished my GED, and I really wish that I had a skilled trade. That's where ENMUR
absolutely
comes in. Now, I'd like to recognize the folks that have supported us.
Yeah.
And that is New Mexico Military Institute.
Oh, yeah.
Eastern New Mexico.
Well, some of the people involved, they're running the show over. So you're getting, to be honest, if anybody knows anything more about education, it's some of the people very much involved at the top of this.
Oh, Mike, no question about it. Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, the city of Roswell has been incredibly supportive. Thank you, Hess Eintema. Thank you, Tim Jennings. We appreciate the support.
It's got to be collaborative for things like this to work. So
Church on the Move has been very, very supportive. The Imperials, the car club, Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds is supporting us tremendously. Nice. And there are a lot of individuals, wealthy individuals behind the scenes that are supporting this with their own money. So it's truly a community event. Absolutely. And a community effort.
And this is where I always go to, and I say this 1,000 times on this show, and I'm probably going to say it 1,000 more. These are the types of events that we, the community, need to put. Like, if you're waiting for your community to be better and you're waiting on your government to do these kinds of things, then I got a very bad news for you. You're going to grow a long beard and have a foot in the grave before you're even going to even hint at maybe getting a result. The only way our town gets better, our community gets better, is we, the community members, roll up our sleeves and get involved to make it better. And that's why supporting events like this, if this is your passion, then you dive in 1,000% and get involved here. If you can't, and I get it, not all of us have thousands of dollars to donate. We don't. But you know what we can do? Come on out and compete in these events. Raise the awareness. That's the money's a big thing. But the awareness, the event, the people coming together, educating others. And why are you here? What are you doing this about? Oh, we're raising money for this. You know how bad this is? That is just as important as the dollar sometimes, to make people aware of what's going on in your own backyards and what can we do to make it better.
And that definitely raises another point. You are absolutely correct. Awareness is such an important thing. We held an event, and I forgot, by the way, to recognize one of our biggest supporters.
You don't want to miss that one.
And that is the Roswell Hispano Chamber of Commerce. They have been.
Well, see, they're partners, so now you're kind of like we're swimming together.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, we're trying to contribute as much as we can because we believe in the goal that they have in mind.
You're on the server's heart side of this one here, and trying to, and that's what this is about, and that's why. So this is what we're hoping is we're talking about this thing now, and we're hoping that in like a couple of years from now, this is as commonplace as Chili Cheese Fest, is Cinco de Mayo, as UFO Festival. Or
that is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, or any of our other Reno Air races, or many of our other.
That's a better one to compare. That's what we want to get to.
As well known as these events are or will be, that's where we want to put this one.
And the Reno Air races have supported us.
Good.
So good. You talked about awareness. The Roswell Hispano Chamber of Commerce held a seminar a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And there were 30 people there, more or less, and speakers from the Small Business Development Corporation and also the Chris Bullard down at CD. Mm-hmm. And I always forget what that means, but the Community Development Workforce.
It's all about economic growth.
That's correct.
Yeah, that umbrella.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Now, after both of them spoke, and they did a very good job speaking, I went in front of the group, 30 people, and I asked them to raise their hand, and I said, how many of you have heard of these programs that these two gentlemen talked about? And they talked about a lot of programs. Mm-hmm. You know how many they've got.
I've had them on the show talking about them over the years here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not a hand went up.
Yeah.
And that tells me that you are spot on, Mike. Yeah. Awareness is really something that we need and we don't have.
And in this day and age, like it, love it, or hate it, you got to make it a little sexy to get it awareness. And that's why I think this is what I love about this, because this pardon the pun, it makes it sexy. A Matanza Fest, what better than coming out and, taking some of New Mexico's oldest traditions that I don't care if you're 800 or 8, you're part of. Everybody can relate to it, and I don't care what anybody says. No one sits around and says, I hate sitting around with family and friends eating great food. And really, that's what, there's going to be competitions. There are going to be bragging rights of cornhole and all that, but this is how we make our community better. This is how you learn about it. People don't learn about it by saying, here, there's this PDF I printed off. Read this at your leisure. That ends up going in the garbage. So, but when you're sitting around at an event like this talking, then you can wet beaks. Then you can get people, and that's when they say, this does make me mad. Hand me that PDF again. And you know what I mean? That's what we're talking about here. So this is how it starts. So come out and start. Even if you don't have maybe you're a cornholer, maybe you're not a pig roaster, but whatever you're into, or if you're just an eater, come on out and celebrate.
Enjoy the food.
You talk about sexy. What's sexier than pork?
That's right.
I know there's many a men who landed their spouses with bacon.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
There's magic in the pork.
There you go.
But again, May 10th is going to be the date of the event. It's going to be at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. Give out the website if you don't mind one more time here. And
it's easy. MatanzaFest.com.
Very good. Because I was just going to say, just Google Matanza Fest Roswell, but you don't even have to do that, .com, because that's exactly what I did, and it was the first thing that popped right up. But there at the website, you can read more about not only the history and what of Matanza and going back to the conquistadors and all that, but also learn about the different competitions you can sign up in, from the cooking side to the cornholing side to the car. I guess the car show is mostly through the car club and their guys, but if you have a car to go, is that through the website too? Or
no, I do not believe that we have a form for the car. However, you can reach out to us, and we can. Yes, that's
correct. They can put you together on that. But if you want to cornhole, or if you want to compete, then you can find all of the sign up sheets, vendor forms, all the stuff you need to be a part of that. The rules on competing, because I imagine since it's a competition, and you're serving the public, going to be some rules that you have to meet.
Oh, very definitely. There's a manual on the website for the cooking teams.
So that is just a forewarned. There, if there's going to be a part that you get frustrated about, is because you're serving to the public or judges. That's considered serving to the public. You have to meet like the health and safety standards of a food kitchen or a food truck or something like that.
And there's going to be LP gas inspections. There's also going to be the
fire going to be above board.
Fire Marshal Olive is going to be there inspecting, and his team inspecting. So we're going to have to go through some of that bureaucratic stuff, but it won't take long.
Sure.
And as long as you're there at the right time, it'll go easy. It'll go fast.
Absolutely. But I just want to forewarn you, because I know there'll be a few people that they want to show up, and that's not how we do it in Mama's Kitchen. I get that, but you're not in Mama's Kitchen right now.
That is correct.
Although we think Mama's Kitchen makes great stuff.
Ain't gonna be anything wrong about it, but these lawyers make things different now.
Yes, sir, they do.
Well, we might do some things to lawyers. It could be another event.
There you go. It's a different tone.
So I would the one thing about the website that I would say is it's spelled Matanza.
Yes.
Matanza.
For us gringos, we want to put that N before the T.
That's
and that's not. It's M-A-T.
Yep.
I did it. No, not right. I do it every time, because in our head it's Montaza. No, it's
Montaza.
No, but us gringo head it's Montaza. For some reason, we tend to reverse things like that.
A little bit.
We apologize. We try.
Listen, if you come to the Matanza Fest and you eat all of the dishes that we're going to have available, you'll be able to speak Spanish without a problem.
The spice. I've had my fair share of chili over the last 25 years. It's not for lack of trying. But again, go to the website, matanzafest.com. And is there like a Facebook page too for those?
We also have a Facebook page.
So look for it on Facebook.
And I believe you also have an Instagram page.
Okay, so for those users of Facebook and Instagram, check it out there. If you generally get your information through that, you can find that, including links to the website for signups, because at the end of the day, it's going to put you back to the website.
That is correct.
To sign up for the forms and what have you. But that way, and I'm going to take a stab at, if somebody's just listening and wants to still sponsor, I'm sure there's a way we can.
They're always welcome.
Find a way for you to get involved in that way. So if you're just listening, I just heard about this and I'd love to be a part of it. I'm sure you can reach out to either one of these two gentlemen. You can reach out direct to John here. This is where you can call him direct at 847-636-0931 or email him hsnbrigade@gmail.com, and that's for Horseshoe Nails Brigade there too. Of course, you can always come by the Hispano Chamber as well.
That as well.
And
correct.
Care of you too. Either way, we'll get you there. So.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Is there any information, anything we wanted to share that we just either got sidetracked on or just didn't get a chance to talk about that you want to make sure we let the public know about?
Well, the Matanza is going to start at 8 in the morning.
Okay, it's an all-day affair.
An all-day
We got
event.
so into the meats, and it's like 8 to what, like 6 or
11.
11 at night. Yeah, it goes all day there.
And we're going to have a beer garden as well.
So yes, you'll be all right. Plenty of refreshments for you.
We're expecting 100 plus cars on the car show.
Oh wow!
Yes,
so you got a lot of time.
Yes.
So in between that slow cooking meat, you got a lot of things to do while you're waiting for the meat to cook.
Or walk around to let go of some of that.
That's right. You've got to release. You guys,
you
correct Dustin.
Yeah.
You can do circuits.
Stay out of the car show area when you do that, please. There's a lot of people over there. Yeah. Maybe go. There's a lot of room out in the fair. Maybe go see the pastures out there. It's a good time to check out the livestock ring. Very good. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll see you here a time or two between now and May 10th just to get people on the radar. But what is the deadline to again, one more time?
April 10th.
April 10th. So we're here about a week and about a little less than 2 weeks away here.
That is correct.
From getting signups on that. So thank you guys, and can't wait to eat your meat.
Mike, thank you very much for the opportunity. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And folks, get involved. I know we're joking and having fun with all the meat and stuff, but we're really, at the end of the day, this is to really make our community better, to get an opportunity, for these next generations of kids to have more opportunities than the current ones have. And that's what we're trying to do.
We're trying to change the trajectory of education here in Chaves County.
Absolutely. One pig at a time.
That's right. One happy bale.
One minuto at a time. One pozole at a time, rather. So thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us, Mike.
Very much, Mike. Appreciate it.
Anytime. It is 8:52. Let us pause for news and a few commercials to pay for my pig fest.
Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. New Mexico lawmakers have voted to pass higher fees for oil and gas companies who drill on state land. Senate Bill 23. It was one of the few oil and gas regulatory bills that survived in this year's legislative session. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has until April 11th to sign the bill. The measure increases from 20 to 25% the cap on royalty rates that oil and gas companies pay as a percentage of their proceeds from fossil fuels extracted from state trust land. Carlsbad Main Street will be paid $250,000 to take over the Cavern Theater downtown. The city will pay the money to the nonprofit organization to manage and operate the historic theater for up to 1 year. A grand opening celebration is slated to take place later this summer. And an early morning fire has damaged the entryway to the Republican Party headquarters in New Mexico in Albuquerque. The city's fire department confirmed an arson investigation is underway, and a spokesperson for the party said they believe the fire was intentionally set in a deliberate attack. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Elon Musk makes a high-profile appearance in Green Bay and campaign for Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Elon Musk handing to potential Wisconsin voters who signed the petition decreeing judicial activism $1 million checks Sunday night, hours after the state Supreme Court rejected an attempt to stop it.
I think this will be important for the future of civilization. It's that significant.
Tuesday's Wisconsin State Supreme Court election will determine the ideological makeup of a court likely to decide key issues like abortion and labor rights in a battleground state. I'm Julie Walker.
Also at townhall.com, President Trump says he's considering ways to serve a third term in the White House, but it's too early to discuss it.
I don't want to talk about a third term now because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. We have almost 4 years to go, and that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again.
The Constitution's 22nd Amendment says no one can be elected president more than twice. Suspected U.S. airstrikes have struck around Yemen's rebel-held capital overnight into Monday morning. The Iranian-backed Houthis say the attacks killed at least 3 people. The full extent of the damage not immediately clear. The attacks followed a night of airstrikes early Friday that appeared particularly intense compared to other days in the campaign that began on March 15th. The death toll from last week's 7.7 magnitude earthquake that hit Myanmar has passed 1,700 people now. 3,400 injured, more than 300 missing. On Wall Street, ahead of President Trump's Liberation Day on tariffs, stocks are mixed. The Dow up 98, the NASDAQ down 227. More at townhall.com.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Financing a home, especially to...
Iran is rejecting President Trump's written overture for direct negotiations on its nuclear program.
In a TV interview, Trump said that in the letter, he says, I hope you're going to negotiate because if we have to go in militarily, it's going to be a terrible thing. President Masoud Pezeshkian is leaving open the possibility of indirect negotiations with Washington. But he says in a televised cabinet meeting, the U.S. must prove that they can build trust. In the years since Trump unilaterally withdrew the U.S. from Tehran's nuclear deal with world powers during his first administration in 2018, talks with Iran have made no progress. I'm Donna Warder.
Lithuanian officials say a U.S. armored vehicle that went missing during a training exercise has now been retrieved from a swamp after a 6-day search, but there is still no information about the fate of 4 American soldiers who were on board. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. There's growing controversy in the community of Everett, Massachusetts.
Mayor Carlo Di Maria scored a victory over the Everett Leader-Herald for its years of personal attacks. He reached a $1.1 million defamation settlement that forced the newspaper to shut down. But critics of the mayor now feel emboldened by the state inspector general's allegations that Di Maria wrongly took $180,000 in bonus pay. City Council launching an audit and may send details to the State Ethics Commission. Jason Walker reporting.
President Trump says a tree that's nearly 2 centuries old will be removed from the White House grounds because it's deteriorating. According to the National Park Service website, President Andrew Jackson brought the tree seeds from his home near Nashville, Tennessee, and planted the tree in 1829.